Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 1131st edition of still the most exciting of them all. Historic Bowman Gray Stadium is the site of tonight's Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 at historic Bowman Gray Stadium. Fans of all ages are gathered here at the Madhouse, and they are excited. But nobody's more excited than me. I'm Matthew Dillner, your host here on Flow Racing every week, and I'm excited also because I am sharing the booth with my brother, veteran motorsports broadcaster Bob Dillner. Bob, how hyped are you for tonight?
Listen, Bowman Gray is all about family. We've seen families in the pits when we walk through today. We see the families, the children in the grandstands, and we're going to see some electric racing on the track here. And how about this? Back-to-back extra distance races due to last week's rain out for the NASCAR Modifieds here at the Madhouse.
Oh yeah, everybody is just clamoring to get back to racing action after an exciting first week of racing, and we'll tell you the racing that we have for you tonight. Of course, we have the Street Stalkers opening up the night with their 20-lapper, Bob, and that's always a good one. But what's up next is what everybody's here for with the sportsman cars and the 100.
Yeah, the Modifieds are going to be a blast, and we're going to talk about so much on the line here tonight for those drivers, but a double dip for the sportsman class, 2 20-lap races, and then, of course, the stadium stocks with 2 features tonight, separate features, and they're always interesting, the Buzz Bombers.
All right, and as we get settled here in the booth and we get settled in the grandstands at Bowman Gray Stadium, we're going to take a quick break on Flow Racing, and we'll be back with an exciting one from the Madhouse. The fans are gathering here on the Midway in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on a beautiful and cool spring day here in North Carolina. I'm Matthew Dillner along with Bob Dillner. We're live here at Bowman Gray Stadium on Flow Racing. And boy, we are ready for a really exciting night of racing with a 100-lap modified race. But last week, 2 weeks ago, the opener, we've been clamoring to get back to racing because that was, Bob, was such an exciting night of racing.
Indeed, it was. And that's what I think is interesting about this week. With last week's rain out, 2 back-to-back extra distance races to actually open the season for the NASCAR Modifieds. And how strong was Tim Brown a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, man. He put it up there and got that 106th career win, doing it for Hayes Jewelers, the sponsor of the race. And, boy, was it a fun race in the sportsman division. Yeah, we had a lot of spins. We had a lot of ruckus, as we typically do here at the Madhouse. But a family moment as Nate Gregg wins with his father, second place. And then, of course, in the street stock division, a great race. And, of course, a little bit of controversy, too. But it resulted in Christian Joyce taking a checkered flag. And it says there, you want war. The stadium stocks, Bob, the battle for the lead produced quite a moment.
Oh, my. A couple of families really kind of duking it out here at the end of the race. And then some extracurricular activity. No, this is not a demo derby. This was the stadium stocks, and a little heated moment there for some of the competitors.
Yeah, it was. And it provided a little viral moment. But Luke Smith, everybody forgets, he won the race. You know, started out where he left off in Victory Lane in 2025. But you never know what you're going to see here when you come to the Madhouse, or if you tune in live on Flow Racing. And that's what this place is all about. Great family racing, great traditions, good grinding short track racing, hardcore, but you never know what's going to happen. And that's the secret sauce of Bowman Gray Stadium. And hey, let's talk about something that's happening right now. The Fans Challenge, okay, Bob, every 100-lap modified race, there's $15,000 on the line with the Fans Challenge. Explain to the race fan tuning in for the first time what it's all about.
Basically, it's all about qualifying, and the top 4 qualifiers come down in the middle of the front stretch, and then in front of the entire crowd, to put a little pressure on them, they choose whether they're going to take that Fans Challenge, whether they're going to elect to go to the rear of the field and have the chance at that extra money if they get into the top 4. This has been done for so many years at Bowman Gray Stadium. The fans love it, and today, 3 of the top 4 qualifiers have taken the Fans Challenge.
So those 3 cars that will drop to the rear are Burt Myers, Jason Myers, the 2 brothers, and making the Fans Challenge for the first time, Junior Snow, the snowman. So those cars will start in the rear. If they make it up to the top 4, they get the bonus. Now, if all 3 of them make it up to the top 4, Bob, they split the kitty.
That stinks. But anyway, Burt Myers, 39th time he's actually taking the Fans Challenge. He's won it on 4 previous times. But I think the interesting thing here is that everybody else will redraw for their starting spot.
Well, let's toss it down trackside to Randy Pulliam with some of the pomp and circumstance of tonight's big race at Bowman Gray.
I know, Lord, that in a race, I, the driver, must set the pace. But in this race of life, I pray, help me, Lord, along the way. Although I know I'm a sinner, help me to believe that with Christ, you're always a winner. Amen. Please remain standing as you are able, removing your caps and your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red were singing, and the air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, are you excited to be at the Madhouse on a Saturday night? Well, then there's only one thing left to do. Let's go racing!
Oh, those fateful words. Let's go racing from Randy Pulliam, and we're about to go green on night number 2 here at Bowman Gray Stadium. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with all the action from the Madhouse. 2026 is green. Bowman Gray Stadium racing is underway.
Tommy Neal got a great jump there. He's going to clear everybody and then get turned.
Oh, Mitch Gales gets turned.
Tommy Neal's going to get turned again.
It's Greg, the son, and the father finishing second. A beautiful moment. The Hayes Jewelers 200 is green. The drive for 5 is alive, and he now wins his 5th ever Hayes Jewelers 200. Give the win to the Rocket, Tim Brown. The Street Stalkers 2026 season is underway.
And Brian Robertson just turned himself in front of the field.
Time limit has hit. Christian Joyce becomes your winner.
Second, no, there's contact between the two of them. Cates goes sideways, it stacks up everybody. Luke Smith wins the season opener.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Madhouse. The Street Stock cars are on the track. Let's give you the quick starting lineup. Starting first will be the number 5 of Connor Keaton, the rookie, to the outside, the number 98 of Jaden Cordell.
That second row, Matt Prevette and Christian Joyce, who won on opening night.
TJ Whaley, Brian Shute make up the next row with Craig Hartless, Brad Lewis, Zach Kogar, Kyler Staley.
A little bit further back in the field, Chase Murphy back in 11th. Brian Sykes Sr., who finished 14th on opening night. And then Brian Robertson and Spencer Martin, Donnie Martin, Andy Avery, Wes Glasgow, Emily Lewis, Brandon Brown, Victor Flores, and Devin Pendergrass rounds out the field.
Well, with a beautiful sunset setting just off behind the Madhouse, Night 1131 is green at Bowman Gray Stadium.
A little slip up there by Connor Keaton in that number 5 car, former Zach Clifton machine. Good-looking car, but that gives Christian Joyce the advantage in the lead.
Joyce now getting a little back bumper shove from the 5 car. Things settling in nicely, one by one. Now looking back further in the field, there's a little bit of a battle developing with Kyler Staley on the outside. TJ Whaley, the red, white, and blue car, but caution in turn number 1.
Robertson goes around in the 72, so a bad break for him. He had some difficulty in the first race of the year after a little contact. He got squirrely off of turn number 4, but a little contact helped pay off the move.
Yeah, Robertson was comfortably up front in that race, and that cost him the win. He wasn't too happy about it.
Not at all.
But I think when he saw the replay, he probably understood what was happening there. So Kyler Staley, in the number 7 that just passed him by right there, he had a clean race going until that contact. Let's see what happened here.
And he was trying to avoid contact with the car in front of him, got on the brakes hard, and I think it's just a little bit too much rear brake in that car, and it turned him around.
Okay. Well, that is your Hudson Auto Works replay, and knowing the stadium, we'll see a lot of those tonight, Bob. And you see the Heartless machine, the number 10, and there is Kyler Staley in the number 7 car, the lendermom.com number 7. And he's a new daddy. His little girl, now I think about 3 months old, was at the stadium a little earlier today.
That entire group down there is so excited to get things kick-started here today. And he thought he had a really good car a couple of weeks ago and is excited about this one. And obviously right now just outside the top 5 early in this one. But he's going to have to charge hard to have a chance at Christian Joyce, who is pacing this field like he did at the end of that race a couple of weeks ago.
Well, Joyce, had a tough season in 2025. Not the type of season, the 2-time defending champion in this division, we were used to seeing him race. And at the end of the year there, well, he got back to his winning ways and started the season off in the way that we are used to Christian Joyce driving around this track.
Had some troubles underneath the hood a little bit last year, and I think that's what plagued that team. But now Christian Joyce returning to the form that we expect out of him, and with 1 lap to go before we go green again, this car just looks fast. We were watching it during practice here today, and they got that car dialed in.
Yeah, Dylan Ward built that chassis, and that car is dialed in. But I'd look out really for the car behind him, and I think there's some fans at the Madhouse that aren't, they're not used to him driving this division because he was a stadium stock graduate, but a winner over in the stadium stocks with Connor Keaton in that number 5. And the people here during the practice sessions leading up to the first night earmark that car because that car looks to be handling so well here at the Madhouse.
Christian Joyce takes the lead going into turn number 1 again. Watch Brad Lewis, though. He was really fast and closing in. A little slip up right there by Keaton is going to allow Lewis to get underneath, almost a little contact down in the corner.
You saw Keaton drop down there and cut off his entry into that turn and keep that number 2 spot. Now eyes are shifting to the battle for the 4th position. TJ Whaley, a veteran in that red, white, and blue car, is trying to hold off Kyler Staley in turn number 3 and 4.
And Staley, just like that little bump showed, is not going to be patient. He knows he needs to get to the front. He now moves into the 4th spot. Now he's got to close that gap on Brad Lewis in 3rd, but he's able to get around and into that spot. Oh, contact down in the corner. A couple of cars. Whaley involved in that one, but a little contact, absolutely.
What a save by TJ Whaley right there. Unbelievable job. We all thought the caution was coming out. But now looking back up front, Bob, as Whaley has got it gathered in, Joyce has the lead, but fastly approaching to his back bumper is Connor Keaton.
The interesting thing about Keaton's car, as you look at it right now, with more laps that we get during this race, that car is coming into him right now. And I believe it was a little tight on the get-go, but as we get laps in, those tires get heated up. It looks like he gets a really good run in. He's just struggling a little bit with that momentum up off the corners.
Yeah, in the center of that corner, that car seems to turn nicely, but that is a 3-car breakaway at the front of our field right now. 8 laps into this 20-lap race here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The opener for the night, of course, the modifieds with the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 is your feature race tonight, but the Street Stalkers putting on a show.
You mentioned Connor Keaton and what he was able to do in the stadium stocks. Good racer there. His brother really good as well. His brother has decided to go dirt racing with Crate Dirt Modifieds around the Carolinas. Carolinas. And Connor said, hey, I want to go and do this. We're now halfway through this one. Connor Keaton still following Christian Joyce, who is in the lead.
Right now approaching lap traffic. That'll be an interesting play right there to see what happens here. Lap traffic, getting around it is not easy here at Bowman Gray Stadium, Bob. And they're approaching 2 or 3 cars here and going to have to here comes number 5 to the bottom. He's going to try to go 3 wide with the lapped race car.
Did you see? Oh, contact from Connor Keaton to Christian Joyce, and Joyce is in the outside wall.
Yellow flag is out, and Christian Joyce, last week's winner, is backwards in the north turn from a nudge from rookie Connor Keaton.
And here's what I saw out of this. It looked like Christian Joyce really tried to squeeze him on that slower car. Connor Keaton did not like that. They both charged hard into the corner, made that contact, and that's how the one wound up on the outside wall.
Now we see Joyce turning that race car around to regather it and rejoin the field.
Fortunately for him, very minimal damage to the left rear on that number 1 car for Christian Joyce. But you talk about a turn of events. Let's take a look at the replay on this one. And you'll see Connor Keaton just gets into Christian Joyce ever so slightly. But Keaton knows he's got a slower car in front of him. Watch what Christian Joyce does. He kind of squeezes it just a little bit, barely leaves enough room for the 5. And then going into the corner, that nudge from the front bumper of Keaton to Christian Joyce.
Real estate here is tough to come by, Bob, and it's the hair of a chinny chin chin here at the racetrack sometimes, and you see the 5 just really does kind of charge the corner and get into him there. As much as the number 1 came down, it looked like the contact was applied from the second place car.
And if you look at that, especially as we looked at our great slow-mos there, really, Connor Keaton saw Christian Joyce go up a little bit higher on entry, and he said, this is my opportunity.
100%.
So really, if you think about it, just 2 guys battling for the same real estate.
We talk about it here all the time. You know, when you come out here in practice and you run fast laps, you arc a corner like you would at any oval track, that is short track in America. But at Bowman Gray Stadium, if you leave the bottom exposed on entry, it could be the end because you could get shuffled up, rooted up a groove, and that's what we saw right there. Emily Lewis getting a push to get her number 68 going here. That's the small delay that we have.
It's really nice to see Emily Lewis honor a great driver whom we lost last year with that number 68 on her car this season.
Yeah, Emily Lewis coming from that great Lewis racing family and, something that's very special to them. Of course, Robbie Brewer was a great guy. And losing him last year was a very hard thing for this racing community.
And there's that damage to the right front fender of Connor Keaton's car. That really should not hurt him whatsoever here on a flat quarter mile. But that shows you the little nudge that Connor Keaton gave that number 1 car of Christian Joyce. So he's going to set the pace here coming to the restart. Second place is Brad Lewis. Staley is in the 3rd spot, having another good run. He had a really good run, and there is Emily Lewis's machine. You mentioned that 68 in honor of the late Robbie Brewer, and just really neat to see her keep that number this year, and she's been a mainstay at Bowman Gray Stadium the last couple of years. 1 to go until we go back green flag racing in this one. We are 12 laps into 20 at Bowman Gray Stadium for the first race of the night on night number 2. Kevin Powell Motorsports night here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Roger Williamson right now, I believe, is actually in that 18 car that is in 4th. Talked to him earlier today, a good friend of Robbie Brewer. And now we come back to green. 12 laps on the board, 8 laps to go for the street stocks. Green flag is out. Keaton leads him.
Really good start by Connor Keaton there. Oh, but sideways in the corner. That opens up the door for Brad Lewis.
Yellow flag is out. And Jaden Cordeal is the reason. Spun at the exit of the north turn.
Brad Lewis is disappointed to see that one because he was going to grab that lead, but now it's going to be Connor Keaton, I believe, back out in front of this field by virtue of that caution. Doesn't Connor Keaton's car just look fast? That thing is low, it's light, it's left. It's got a great attitude on its body. You see some of the greenhouses on some of these street stock machines be a little bit higher. But that car is low slung and just looks like it's lightning quick.
Well, the former Zach Clifton car, and Zach really knew how to get around this place. Of course, an incredible driver in the sportsman ranks with so many wins, and of course his dad, Smooth, Ronnie Clifton, one of the all-time greats here. And that's the thing, family here, and there's a family tree in first and second right now, because the Lewis family, we talk about them all the time, but the Keatons as well. We've seen the brothers Keatons dominating here in recent years in the stadium stocks, but their dad also a big winner in the stadium stocks as well.
Before we go green, I want to give a shout-out to the fifth-place car right now, the number 10 of Craig Hartless. One win last year for him. Had himself a very good year in 2025. Already started with the top 10 in the opening night, and now he finds himself fifth with 7 laps to go in this one.
Coming back to the green, lucky lap 13. We'll see that emerald flag fly. Keaton, Lewis, Staley to the green.
Will Keaton slide again? He does, but this time Brad Lewis not able to keep that momentum up. Keaton, a dirt driver himself, using that dirt prowess here to keep the 16 at bay.
Great battle going on for the third position right now. The 18 car scored as Chase Murphy, but we believe it is Roger Williamson in that machine. Getting by Staley, little bit of contact.
Battle for the lead. Battle for the lead. Lewis up underneath Connor Keaton, drag racing into turn number 1.
Pinches down on him now, sideways. They go side by side down the south straightaway into the north turn. Oh, the leader looks like it's going to be Lewis coming off of turn number 4.
Keaton's going to let this one slip away. He's got to get down low to protect that second spot. Can he do it? No, he's not going to be able to.
Now filling the hole is that number 18 car. That is another Dylan Ward race car with coming to 2 laps to go.
Keaton on the outside crew, not the place you want to be, especially with a loose race car, going to fall back to 5th.
Battle is on for the second position right now between that 18 car. Here comes Kyler Staley on the bottom. The 2 make contact. Yellow flag is out.
Emily Lewis goes off the racetrack. Caution comes out for that 68 machine. So trouble here. And now we got an interesting scenario here, because will Brad Lewis be able to capture this win, hold off the cars right around him? Staley looked very strong. A little contact down in the corner prior to this caution flag coming out. With just 2 laps to go in the opener of night number 2 of NASCAR racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. It'll be a green-white checker finish with 1 lap to go. Brad Lewis, the veteran, knows how to get the job done here. 4 wins in 2025. They have waved off the green next time by. It looks like we're going to clean up the track crew just a little bit. So to be interesting here, Williamson and Staley, 2 very good race cars, with Brad Lewis trying to hold on, but Staley's got himself another quick car on night number 2 of the season.
Staley is, he started his, career in stadium stocks here, and had a rough go at times. But ever since he's moved up to the street stock ranks, he's really shown something as far as how clean of a race car driver he is. You saw him get physical there with that 18 car, but not overly physical. And that's what you look for at a young race car driver, kind of like Brian Sykes last year, seeing him develop. We might be seeing the same sort of development with Kyler Staley.
And will he be able to utilize this restart and maybe a mistake by Brad Lewis to get the lead? That's a big question here. Obviously, Williamson right there in that second spot has got a shot in a very good race car. Craig Hartless up to 4th now. Keaton back to 5th.
2 laps to go. When we come back to green, the modern Chevrolet Pace vehicle pulls back into the end zone, tucked away. the green flag about to unfurl. It does. The green and black car of Brad Lewis is in control.
Robertson, little sideways, goes to the infield, but we're concentrating on the battle for the lead, coming to 1 to go.
Lewis, Williamson, Staley, white flag is out. One more trip around the famed quarter mile. Can Lewis hang on for this one?
Lewis has got that lead. Williamson in second. Staley still there. Will it be any contact down in turn number 4? No way. Win number 1 of the season for Brad Lewis in the street stocks.
Bad Daddy Brad gets it done in the black and green number 16 machine. What a run for Williamson right behind him. Staley finishes in the 3rd spot. 4th to Connor Keaton. 5th to Craig Hartless. 6th to Spencer Martin. 7th, the Moose Martin. But the big winner, his 11th career win for Brad Lewis, a guy that went so long racing here at Bowman Gray, Bob, without success, without big wins. And if you look at his success, he will say it's because of the Dylan Ward race car and working together with Dylan. You also see a lot of maturity out of veteran race car drivers. Some of them just hit that stride at a later part of their career, and we've really seen Brad manage races so well.
At the same time, with Dylan Ward and what he's been able to do for Brad Lewis, sometimes a driver's just looking for a feel.
Yes.
And I believe that Brad Lewis has got that feel that he likes back in his race car.
Now, with this 11th career win, it ties him with Susan Kimmel for 21st in the street stock division. Big moment for the Lewis family, and they're all going to be in victory lane, that's for sure. Anytime there's a Lewis victory, there's always a lot of fun in victory lane. Of course, Right Choice Plumbing on board with this car this year, joining them and being a big part of this effort here. They park next to the parts truck, which is run by their family as well, right at the entrance of pit road when you come back behind the field house. And a very popular win tonight at Bowman Gray, and we are being delivered. This is great. You know, you talk about him holding the checker flag and having victory. We've got victory right now because we just got handed some S&P lemonades, buddy.
And he knows what flavor I like, too, because I'm not the fancy lemonade. I know they have a lot of cool lemonades over there at the S&P lemonade stand, but the good old natural, real lemonade, that spells Bob Dillner.
Well, Brad Lewis pulls into victory lane. We're going to have some refreshment, but while we do, we're going to toss it down trackside to Chris Carter for all of victory lane.
Let him hear you, Brad Lewis! Two races, 2 wins. I mean, 1 win, Brad Lewis. Tell us about it. Now, listen, there was some good racing in this race tonight. We got Keaton coming up from the stadium stocks, and some pretty good competition behind you, my friend.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I'm kind of choked up. I lost my mom January 31st. She loved this place. This is for her. Yeah, the tough race. I hate that for Christian. Keaton, I tried to stay out of him, but we was racing hard. I got to thank my sponsors, man. Ceramic Pro, Brad Reese, on board on the hood, Carolina Heritage Vineyard and Winery, Reese Builders, Reese Windows and Doors, Unlimited Services, L&S Planning, Black Oak Barbershop, Velocita, Right Choice Plumbing, Jacob. He pulls from every week, Just Chillin' Services. Randy's Custom Leather, RCL, adds horsepower. And last but not least, DWR, man. Dylan gets this thing to the front, man. It's a rocket.
No doubt the emotion that you're showing here and losing your mom, man.
Yeah.
On behalf of all of us here, man, congratulations. Way to go, okay?
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
An emotional win, a very emotional win for the Lewis family today. Let them celebrate, and we're going to take a quick break on Flow Racing and be back with more from the Madhouse. Welcome back to Bowman Gray Stadium, live on Flow Racing. I'm your host, Matthew Dillner, along with Bob Dillner, and we are set for the second race of the night, a 20-lapper. We have twin features for the Sportsman Division tonight, and before we get to that modified race, we'll hit the first 20-lapper. Let's give you the starting lineup. On the pole for this one will be the number 88 Walkertown Mill Machine for Chris Taylor. To the outside, the 75 of Brent Brown.
Starting on the inside of row number 2, the Zero Hero Kirk Sheets. One win almost 10 years ago for him in this division. Nate Gregg on the outside, 11 wins in his career at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Starting 5th tonight in the Tough Shed, number 38, it's the good guy, Mitch Gales. To the outside, the Mountain Fried Chicken Ride. It's Austin Jones in the number 1.
I always love nicknames, and row number 4 has got some good ones. Nasty Massey, Chris Massey in the 37, and the Tiger, Tommy Neal. Nobody better here in the starting lineup today in the history of this division in terms of active drivers at the Madhouse.
Well, if you like nicknames, the driver starting 9th tonight in the black number 03 Pendry Home Improvements Machine has one. He's the rock star. Sterling Clemens to the outside. Donkey Strong, the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds car for Justin Taylor.
Starting 11th here today, Austin Taylor in the number 51. One career win for him, and Jim Schoaf, 9 total wins for him here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Starting 13th tonight in the 07 Machine, Larry's Trucking, Kenneth Stimson. And to the outside, the Smith Masonry number 63, it's Terry Smith.
Starting 15th, the number 24 of A.J. Burness, the former super modified competitor and a 29-time winner here at Bowman Gray Stadium. In 16th, it's Michael Adams.
Starting in 17th position, last year's street stock champion, moving up like the Jeffersons. Up here into the sportsman ranks, it's Brian Sykes Jr. To the outside, making his return in 2026, it's the number 55 Cardinal Plumbing Machine for Zach Orr.
The show is on the inside of row number 10. Billy Craig right there, and Jonathan Simicek on the outside of the final row.
20 sportsman cars set to do battle for 20 laps here at Bowman Gray Stadium underneath a beautiful spring sunset here. Our second week of racing. Technically, it's week 3. We had a rain out, but our second week of racing. Look at that view. Folks, if you've never come here, this is a bucket list track. And reasons like that. You know, the beautiful view that you get from the grandstands here is like nothing else in all of motorsports.
It is beautiful. Just, you know, if you look all around here, some people might go, oh, look, there's some empty seats here. Listen, every racetrack in America would love to have the crowd that Bowman Gray Stadium gets each and every week. But I want to highlight one driver before we go green here, and it's the Tiger, Tommy Neal. I spent some time with him in the pit area today, and he had a tough night on opening night.
Oh, yeah.
But he also told me he was having some carburetor issues, some problems underneath the hood. And we're not going to go into details, but he basically got that fixed. And he feels like he's got a good machine tonight. And I love the fact that he's got that Wood Brothers look. And he said he was always a big fan of David Pearson, and that's why he's run the 21. He's got that red and white screen paint scheme on that race car. So Tommy Neal has been part of the legacy of the Madhouse for so many years.
The Neal family has done so much. Of course, his son, Kevin Neal, and of course, we get to see Riley Neal racing a 100-lapper tonight as well. So the Neals, just part of this place so much. 66 times Tommy Neal has visited Victory Lane here at the Madhouse. 57 of them coming in this great division.
So does Nate Gregg go back-to-back to open the season? That's the big question, because he's got an awfully good starting spot for this one.
Well, the car on the inside row is starting from the point for the first time. He had trouble with his transmission during practice this morning. Let's see how he starts. That's going to be the key here for the 88 of Taylor, Chris Taylor. And now as the pace car dips off into the infield grass, we get to go green here for the Sportsman Division Twin 20 number 1.
Oh, sideways to start this one on the outside for Greg, and Greg gets a great run. Problems a little bit further back, and it involves the Tiger, Tommy Neal.
Mitch Gales also involved, and so is Massey. A bunch of crunched up race cars in turn number 1 and turn number 2.
Bad break. Mitch Gales hoping to have himself a really good run here tonight, and he's in trouble, as is Tommy Neal early in this one.
All right, let's take a quick break here on Flow Racing, and we'll be back as we collect the sheet metal here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina is the city. Today we are at Bowman Gray Stadium for night number 2 of NASCAR racing at Bowman Gray Stadium. The history continues, and we are about to go back to green flag racing in the first of the Twin 20s for the sportsman class.
And we're looking at that Zero car right there, and that is the guy that we affectionately call the Zero Hero. And in the pits, they were calling him Kirkland today.
Kirkland?
That's
What's
a new
that
new
about?
nickname. I don't know, but expecting he and Amber Lynn expecting a child. They just announced it, so it'll
Papa
be his
or Daddy?
Papa, maybe. It'll be his 4th child. So congratulations to the Zero Hero. Going to be a hero because being a daddy's a hero once again.
Coming back to the green flag. 1 lap in the books, and sideways is Greg again coming to the green flag. But look at the Zero Hero Sheets underneath and picks up that 2nd spot.
Kirk Sheets dances into that position. That's an old perimeter race car that's been sitting in his shop for such a long time. He gets the 2-spot move Taylor back to 3rd. But here comes the other Taylor, Justin Taylor, pressuring that white car for 3rd.
Yeah, Donkey Strong in that 12 machine looks sporty here tonight. Looks like he was thinking about getting to the back bumper of the other Taylor right in front of him, but thought better of it. A little bit battle, a little bit further back. Here comes Taylor on the inside. Zach Orr trying to make his way through the field as well. But Donkey Strong picks up another spot.
Here comes Sterling Plemons to fill the hole on the bottom. And then Zach Orr. Zach Orr all the way up from 18th position. Moving on up through this field. The yellow flag is out. And it's Mitch Gales on the backstretch.
Mitch Gales, trouble for the 2nd time tonight in the first of the Twin 20s for the NASCAR Sportsman class at Bowman Gray Stadium. He's going to bring that car, I believe, back to the pit area because it's not to his liking. He's already got the window net down. So Mitch Gales, trouble twice early in this one.
Tough start to the season for Mitch Gales and the 38.
By the way, you were talking about Zach Orr. We spent some time with him in the pit area. He's excited to be back this week.
Yes.
Was not able to compete in the first week of the season, but he is excited. I was a little disappointed with him that he's got the Duke Blue on that car, but he's a big Blue Devil fan. Everybody's got their own choice.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's okay. We accept everybody in this booth,
but think about it.
What's on the roof of that car? I got to ask you. Do you know?
Well, last week or 2 weeks ago, I heard it was a chicken, but it's really a cardinal.
I messed up. I thought it was a chicken. I don't know why I did. It wasn't on his car, though.
No matter whether
it was on
it's
T. Dawson's car. It is not a chicken, folks. It's a darn cardinal.
But no matter whether it's a chicken or a cardinal, it looks like it's on steroids.
Oh, that thing is jacked. I've never seen a cardinal so muscular. I mean, I think he said that it was modeled after Zach Orr himself.
Zach's
I don't
got
know
some
about
muscle.
that. He's got a little bit of muscle, but
muscle.
it's great to see him back. Ollie Ferguson was driving that car last week, his debut. Cancer survivor. Great to see him from Canada all the way down here racing that car. But now Zach Orr is back, serving a little suspension from some things that happened last year with inspection post-race of these cars. So great to see the champion of this division make his return.
And listen, Chase Robertson not here. That takes out a big championship favorite. And who knows what Zach Orr can do even with that missed race in the opening night.
Well, we're seeing what he could do tonight because right now that number 55 is in 5th position, and he started all the way back in 18th. So that is an impressive charge.
How is that possible in 5 laps? That's the question, but that's
Nothing's
the mystery.
impossible.
Nothing's impossible at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Well, you know it is possible. It's possible that the number 28 could end this one in victory lane because he's got the preferred spot right now at the front of this field, and that car is hooked up. Nate Gregg, your leader, Kirk Sheets in 2nd, but here comes Taylor in 3rd spot in that black and orange machine.
I think we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled to that 2nd place battle. Sheets sideways after a little wrap to his back bumper from Taylor. So the battle right now brewing for the 2nd spot. The rock star Plemons back in 4th right now. Here comes Donkey Strong trying to get to the inside. Battle for 2nd, side by side off of 4.
Taylor working his butt off there, but Sheets is hanging on the outside with that number 0 car. Give the spot to Taylor. Can the rock star fill the hole here into the north turn?
Taylor gets the spot. The rock star not able to get underneath, and Sheets does a good job of getting it back to the mat and getting himself in that 0 car back into the 3rd spot and keeping the 0-3 at bay.
Bob, I'm just impressed too. That is an old race car that Sheets has here this year. It's a perimeter race car going against some of these straight rail race cars, and that is impressive. Here comes Sterling Plemons to the bottom though of Sheets, making the real estate underneath him, and he's got daylight. It looks like it's going to be a big battle here into turn number 3.
Here comes Plemons down below. He's about to get, or Sheets is about to get freight trained here. I'm sure Zach Orr going to try to close in on this as well halfway through this one in the first of the twin 20s, and we got a car around that brings out the yellow on the backstretch.
We have a single car spinner on the back straightaway. It is Brent Brown in the 75.
We mentioned the backstretch here, but we were at Pulliam's Hot Dogs, which is a tradition for a lot of people before they come to Bowman Gray Stadium. We had some hot dogs with our family and friends there today, and we were watching and looking at some old pictures of the backstretch, which was originally the front stretch here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't realize. You know, it's like the Darlington flip-flop. Let's see the replay. It looks like here, lap traffic in front of your leader, Nate Gregg, and Nate Gregg gets into the back of Brown on your Hudson Auto Works replay. Oh, you see what happened there. Hey, slow car in front of him, and he just felt like he had to go.
Greg said, let's get out of the way. He's supposed to be to the bottom, and he took care of putting him to the bottom.
Well, there is that front straightaway, and you see the press tower. We're in there, and you see a temporary flag stand as of now with this new catch fencing down there. That is the front straightaway, the start-finish line, much like Darlington in South Carolina, where we had a swap of the front stretch and the back stretch. The flag stand and the front stretch used to be on the other side. On the back stretch right now, there's an older tower that is still standing there, and that is the original press tower, not that shiny one you see right there. And you know what? That's just part of the lore here. There used to be an old field house. Now we've got this big, grandiose one. That's the original press tower at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Always interesting. No matter where you go in America, any racetrack has history. Obviously, history oozes out of Bowman Gray Stadium, and there's so many stories here that you can talk about. But you know what's really interesting is I love people are starting to get back involved and more. You know, it's more important to everybody out there in terms of keeping the history, preserved in racing.
Yeah, the traditions. I mean, we all love traditions within our own family, right? We all love, American history. Well, Bowman Gray is such a huge part of the culture of not only Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but overall this whole sport. Everybody is standing on their feet. That's because the green flag just got unfurled. 11 laps down. Nate Gregg, your leader, but Justin Taylor is coming strong in the number 2 spot.
Oh, a little wrapping to the back bumper of Kirk Sheets by Zach Orr. Zach Orr in the 55 trying to get to the inside, but Sheets holding his line. But look at how much that car shoves the nose and then is a little bit loose off. Zach Orr not able to get by Sheets yet, but here he comes again. A run for Zach Orr into 4th here in the late going of this sportsman race.
Here comes Brian Sykes Jr. as well. The black number 99 fills the hole. Now Adams gets into him. Trouble in the south turn. Sheets is around. Tommy Neal got a piece of it as well, ripping part of his car off. And the Zero Heroes night has gone south.
Bad break for Kirk Sheets. That car was just trying to hold on. You could see the diction of those wheels in the center of the corner, just awfully tight. That car did not want to turn in the center. And then he had so much wheel into it, he kind of just broke free. Let's take a look at what happened to Kirk Sheets. He was in the middle of a crazy incident. And there, Michael Adams, who was kind of side by side a little bit there, wound up getting into the back of Kirk Sheets' car.
Well, the 19 of Adams also had Billy Gregg all over him there. And just definitely, I don't know if he overcooked the corner, Bob, but he got in there pretty hot. He had some pressure from behind them. And, you know, hey, that's what happens on a tight quarter mile.
Yeah, I think the key thing was the pressure from behind by Gregg. And that just, you know, makes you expect a bump or maybe charge a little bit hard. And I think that's exactly what happened with Michael Adams.
Well, now Nate Gregg is your leader with Justin Taylor in second, Sterling Plemons in third. Zach Orr is now up to the fourth position with Brian Sykes Jr. in the fifth spot. Great start to the season for the young driver of the black number 99. But the other young driver of this division, Nate Gregg, brings him to green 14 laps down.
And remember, Plemons looking for a rebound from a tough night on opening night. He was back at 19th, so in the top three, that's a good points night, even if he were to finish there.
Well, right now, it's single file all the way around the famed quarter mile. 5 laps to go this time by for young Nate Gregg. Can he make it 2 in a row? He's gapping the number 12 machine of Taylor right now down this backstretch.
Nate Gregg's car is on a rail. Third place battle heating up again. Plemons in the 0-3. Zach Orr all over the back bumper of that race car. Contact again down in the corner. Zach Orr is pouring on the heat.
He sure is right now, and the 0-3 of Plemons is trying to protect the bottom. Now a little bit of physicality out of the turn number 4. They're side by side into the south turn. Give the spot to Zach Orr.
Zach Orr, oh, if he only had a few more laps, what could he do? Coming to the 2 to go this time for Gregg, and oh my, it is Plemons that goes around in the corner. Bad break for him, who is having a great run in this one.
And Sykes Jr. as well, who worked his way all the way up from 17th, much like Zach Orr, that black and yellow number 99. He was all the way from 17th into the 5th spot, and he is now turned around inside the grass. So his night has gone south really quick, just as quick as the Rockstars.
So Plemons doesn't look like a lot of damage to that race car, fortunately for him. Remember, we had to have twin features tonight for the sportsman class, so he'll be okay. Maybe straighten out a fender or something like that, but he's A-okay for that second one. But a bad break for him, especially with that 19th place finish in the opener.
And there'll be an invert, too. We'll see what the invert is, but let's look. I think we have a replay of this, so let's take a look at what happened to bring us under this yellow flag on Flow Racing, the Hudson Auto Works replay, and the 99 is underneath him, and Plemons comes down on him and creating contact, and then nowhere to go for Billy Gregg. He gets back into the back of the 99.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb here is you need to be up to the left rear tire, and that was so close right there, but both of those guys, and I think Plemons was trying to protect his car a little bit. I think it was getting a little bit tight, so a little higher upon entry to allow that car to roll in the corner.
You know what happens when you do that, right?
Yes,
we just talked about it, right?
Yep.
You know, expose your entry, Bob. You know, Bowman Gray Stadium, some rules just don't apply. You know, the rule that we grew up in with modified racing or even fendered racing when you had your Super Late models is you have to have a wheel up to a wheel or maybe a wheel up to a door. Really here, sometimes that doesn't apply because you're just fighting for the bottom so hard here, harder than almost any racetrack out there. We're going to go to the green flag here, and it's a green-white together 1/4 mile trip around this famed oval. Nate Gregg has the control of this one. As a car slows in the infield, it doesn't matter because here comes Nate Gregg, 2 in a row.
Impressive run for Nate Gregg, able to get the win, his 12th career win at Bowman Gray Stadium.
6 times a driver has opened the season winning the first 2 races throughout the history of this division. Dink Osborne was one. Steve Plemons Sterling Plemons' dad was another. The great Jimmy Johnson, Gary Ledbetter, Derek Stoltz, Chase Robertson, and now Nate Gregg.
Derek Stoltz, there's a name that we haven't heard for a while.
The Punisher.
Oh, he was one tough competitor here at Bowman Gray Stadium, but so is Nate Gregg. 5th career win in the sportsman class at the Madhouse.
This is a driver that, well, he doesn't speak very much when you go to talk to him. He does his talking holding a steering wheel, and tonight, hey, he's got the checkered flag in his hand as he stops and salutes some of his fans over on the back straightaway, ripping some donuts. Hey, you know what? I don't think he invented the donut, but Alex Zanardi passed away, who was a great, great competitor in the open wheel ranks and an inspiration to all. And when I see a donut today, I'm going to think of Alex Zanardi, who we got to know in the kart series, and seeing a short tracker throw a donut tonight even reminds me of that.
Indeed, Alex Zanardi, one of the best in the business on and off the track, truly an inspiration, a hero of mine today, a very sad day. Let's go down trackside here at Bowman Gray.
Bag of the numbers 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. The Elite Underground Utility Madhouse Scramble Redraw. That'll determine how the field's inverted and where Nate will start in race number 2. Keep your eyes on the video board. Nate, congratulations. 2 for 2. Let's come around here so these folks can see you. 2 for 2 on the season. I believe this is win number 5 in your sportsman career.
Yes, sir. That officially means I'm a little better sportsman than Dad is over here.
I noticed you drew number 10 in the Madhouse Scramble. You'll be starting 10th in the second race. What do you think about your opportunities there?
I don't think 3 for 3 is out of my realm.
All right, Nate Gregg, the winner tonight. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 for the NASCAR Modifieds.
Starting 21st, he was the winner of the season opening Hayes Jewelers 200 in the Jerry Hunt Super Center. Hayes Jewelers, cover 83 from King is Tim Brown. Starting 20th in the Carolina VIP Ken. Welcome back to the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium for night 1,131, and the featured event for the night has rolled out onto the racetrack. These are the ground pounders. The NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modified, set to do 100 laps here tonight for the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. They'll dazzle you with speed, drama, open-wheeled excitement here at NASCAR's first, it's the original, weekly racing series track.
For the modified starting lineup, let's start you off on the pole with a driver who grew up just down the road off Sprague Street, the Black Sand Company, number 69. It's John Holloman IV. To the outside, the great veteran in the Phoenix packaging, number 75, it's Lee Jeffries.
A pair of sophomore modified drivers in row number 2. Fourth generation out of the Myers family, Slate Myers will line up third, and Ethan Truel with that white stripe and white bumper on that 64 will line up fourth.
Starting in the 5th position will be the driver of the Bird Dog Traffic, number 14, it's Trey Hutchins. And to the outside, the number 3 Myers Brothers entry for Andrew Hara.
Starting 7th, the number 12 of Dean Ward, a former blunderbuss dominator here at Bowman Gray Stadium. And to his outside, former SMRS modified champion, Jeremy Gerstner.
Starting 9th tonight, a generational star here at Bowman Gray Stadium in the Taylor Auto Parts 99. It's Jordan Fleming. To the outside, another generational star in the garage doors of the Triad 07. It's Riley Neal.
Just outside the top 10, starting 11th, the number 57 of the current Smart Modified Tour point leader and 19-time winner here at this racetrack, Freehold, New Jersey driver Danny Bone. And on the outside, they call him the Flying Taco, Danny Probst in the 00.
Starting in lucky number 13 position tonight is the driver of the number 16. They call him the Showstopper, the Taylor Auto Parts number 16 for Chris Fleming. To the outside of him will be the Iron Man of Bowman Gray, the number 5 Muddy Creek Motorsports machine for Randy Buntner.
Row number 8, a pair of drivers looking for their first win at Bowman Gray Stadium in NASCAR modified competition. The 44 of Daniel Beeson in 15th, and 16th, it's Kyle Southern.
Starting in 17th in the QRC HVAC and refrigeration number 10, the guy Bob nicknamed the Bulldog. It's Mike Spini. To the outside, making his first ever start here at historic Bowman Gray Stadium in one of the Riggs prepared machines. The number 47, it's the Friendly Ghost, Jackson Casper.
A superstar buried way back in the starting lineup for this 100-lap race. Two-time NASCAR modified champion here at Bowman Gray. The 04 Brandon Ward will line up 19th. To his outside, crate modified standout Mason Lawson in the 82.
The next row starts one of the greats of all time here at the stadium. 12-time track champion, the number 83, the Rocket from Tobaccoville, it's Tim Brown. To the outside, in the number 17 machine, the Dalton McGuire Farm Bureau Insurance ride for Lonnie Oakley.
The number 35 of Brandon Butner will line up 23rd, and the first of the Fans Challenge drivers with 3 wins overall in his career at this racetrack, the 51 of Junior Snow lines up 24th.
The other 2 drivers bringing up the rear of this field will be the drivers in the Fans' Choice that have elected to start in the rear of the field, and they're both brothers. Making up that final row, can they get the bonus tonight? Jason Myers on the inside with 58 career wins, and his brother on the outside with 103 career wins at the stadium. It's the ace, Burt Myers. That's your starting lineup for 100 laps of excitement here at Bowman Gray Stadium for the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds. Bob, you and I grew up modified racing in the Northeast. There is nothing like modifieds on a bull ring, especially on a Saturday night.
Listen, the Kentucky Derby had 24 horsepower today, and that is a famed race. But today, more than 16,000 horsepower in this 27-car field for the NASCAR Modifieds at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's a lot of horsepower right there.
Oh, it sure is, and we were enjoying watching that horsepower today during practice, and we're going to now see them side by side. Who's it going to be? It's going to be an interesting one here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Wanted to mention Chris Fleming had an awful night on the opening night a couple of weeks ago, and just found that he had some problems. Thought that engine was running a little bit hot. Did not want to cook the power plant on that car, so he played it safe. Realized there was a mistake that was made. He's got it corrected. Feels like he's got a better car this week than he did on opening night. So we'll see if Chris Fleming can march his way to the front of the field.
Chris Fleming knows how to do the Fans' Choice.
He does.
He sure does. He's won a lot of money from this deal, but he's not part of it tonight. There are 3 drivers that selected that. But the 100-lapper is a great tradition here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and Burt Myers, the man that is taking the challenge tonight, he knows how to get it done in the 100-lappers here, the extra distance affairs. 28 career wins. He is quite frankly, the master of the 100, Junior Miller, who almost made his comeback last week in the Twin 25s. He would argue that he's one of the great masters, and he is, of Bowman Gray Stadium and Southern Modified Racing. But you just look at that list right there of competitors. The 100 lapper is a great tradition.
Yeah, incredible names right there in the history and the laurels of Bowman Gray Stadium. Myers, Miller, Brown, Johnson, Myers, incredible. Remember Jason Myers taking that fans challenge as well. He's gone to the rear of the field. And there is Tim Brown that opened the season 2 weeks ago here at Bowman Gray Stadium with a different race car, that blue Hayes Jewelers machine, but back behind the wheel of the orange Jerry Hunt Super Centers machine here for Tim Brown. One of the dominators here at Bowman Gray Stadium for a long time. And this team really went to work in the offseason, brought a pair of new Troyer machines for battle this year at the Madhouse.
He certainly brought a bullet the opening night, did the driver of the number 83, Tim Brown, winning that race, his 106th win here at Bowman Gray Stadium. And, can he do it tonight? He's got to start from the rear of the field. He's got to start from 21st position. So it's going to be tough to follow up that 200, okay? Only a handful of drivers, and you see them on your screen, have done that. In the 2000s, a grouping of them did it. But dating all the way back, Paul Radford did it in 1976. And it's a hard thing to come here and follow up the 200.
It's basically a couple of handfuls because it's 9 overall times the driver has won the 200 and come back and won again. So, if we look at Tim Brown, you look at 21st starting spot, you go, I don't know about that. Oof. But this is a long race. And with the choose aspect that you have in NASCAR modified competition here, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
So for the fans joining us for the first time at Bowman Gray, watching this, to choose, as Bob's talking about, is on the restarts. We will have double file restarts with the choose cone. You can choose outside, inside, whatever you want.
Interesting drivers meeting here today, too. A couple of people just asking some questions about the restarts, and we'll have plenty of them, I'm sure, in this race about what you can do in terms of jumping a restart. So it was a little bit comical at times, but we'll see what happens here today as we're about to go green in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100.
The drivers pulling their belts down tight, the chrome glistening off the beautiful lights here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The fans rising to their feet because these are the drivers that live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. The green flag is out for the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100.
Bad break by John Holloman. He either spins the tires or misses a shift, and that allows Lee Jeffries in the 75 to grab the lead.
Jeffries rockets out front. Holloman in the second position. Truhl now gathering it back up into the third spot. Slate Myers in fourth. Hutchins now in fifth. The first car side by side. It's Dean Ward in the 12 and the 55 of Jeremy Gershner on your screen right now. Tussling in the north turn, and on the grass is Dean Ward.
Whoa, hold on, Dean Ward. Great job of driving there to keep control of that race car, but he loses a bunch of spots. And as we talk about that, you look at Danny Bone charging hard from the rear of the field, and that number 57, a 19-time winner here at the stadium in NASCAR modified competition.
Danny Bone looked to have the 200 locked up last week, and a little bit of contact basically broke his race car and took that 200, which would have been his second career one, away. He's the big race bandit. He's the guy that likes to come here for the extra distance affairs.
Battle for the lead starting to get a little bit more interesting. Down in turns 3 and 4, last time by, Holloman had went right up to the back bumper of Lee Jeffries. Lee Jeffries pacing this field, but it appears that white 75 just a little bit tight in the corners. Lee Jeffries has won 3 times in 100-lap competitions in NASCAR modified racing at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Things are heating up everywhere, Bob, because the battle for third is heating up as well between 2 young superstar modified racers. Up-and-comers, Ethan Truhl, the comeback kid, with the white bumper this week in that number 64 Big B coffee machine. To the rear of that car is Slate Myers, 4th-generation star, using the tip-tip-tap of that bumper, trying to seek daylight under the 64.
And Slate Myers uses it to his perfection. Hits Truhl down in 3 last time perfectly to kind of get him up the race racetrack just a little bit. Classic Bowman Gray style racing there. Myers, a little bit dip on the back end of his race car, not able to get the run that he wanted, but he continues to pound Truex with his front bumper.
Seeing some young race car drivers at the front of this race. A big strike to the back bumper of Truex now. Give the spot to Slate Myers. Oh, and now Truex comes down on the number 14, and Truex goes around on the bumper of Hutchins.
Yeah, I think that Truex going to look back at that one and say, man, I think I just made a mistake. Because Truex tried to block and prevent the 14 of Hutchins from getting up underneath him, and he wasn't able to get down there quick enough. So I think Truex is going to go back to the replay and look at that and go, man, should have done that a little bit quicker if he could.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity for that race car driver. Sometimes you just got to take what comes to you, and let's see the replay. He tries to fill the hole and get down to the bottom, but Hutchins is already there on the entry of that corner on the Hudson Auto Works replay. And just, I mean, what is Hutchins to do there, Bob?
Hutchins couldn't do anything because Truex came down the racetrack, and you could say it, maybe this isn't the right word, but almost came down violently to put the block on the 14. And when he did so quickly, with the 14 being down there, he was all the way down the racetrack. He had no more real estate to turn left anymore. So just a bad break between some aggressive driving race car drivers. And there's Trey Hutchins. And, you know, this is a second-generation race car driver, and Trey's been doing such a good job, part-time basis, running the big shows at Bowman Gray Stadium, but he's got himself a good job, and he's going to Montreal next week.
God, I love the city of Montreal. And it's great to see him working with Formula One. Formula One, chicken fingers, barbecue, hot dogs. Yeah, that's what he experiences every week here at Bowman Gray. And now he's going to go to poutine next week.
I don't like poutine.
What contrast right there.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
I'm sorry you don't like poutine. There's something wrong with you. Yellow flag's back out. We're not going green, so we can talk.
Trey's a good kid, too.
Yes.
I mean, really a smart kid, obviously, working for a Formula One team, right? But you think about what Trey has done, and his dad was so good in his career at RCR and then NASCAR big leagues, and then obviously in modified racing. In fact, this car that Trey is running is a 2008 chassis modified that his dad ran in the Smart Modified Tour back in the day.
That's really cool. You know, the generations of families that race here in that traditional Hutchins paint scheme and that, that blue and yellow. You know, when you see it across the racetrack, it just screams Southern Modified Racing. But, hey, look at all these paint schemes. Lee Jeffries, of course, the paint scheme that his father, you know, made famous, Robert Jeffries. Now he comes to the green as the leader. Side by side, green flag back out, 13 laps into the Modified 100.
Holloman knew better than to go to the outside, but, boy, he is banging on the back bumper of Jeffries. Side-by-side battle. Barely for the 4th spot. Andrew Harra trying to work to the inside of the 14, but almost puts Riley Neal up into the wall.
Riley Neal with possibly the save of the race there. He and Jeremy Gershner
got one going around in turn 1 and 2.
Mason Lawson has spun to bring out the yellow flag. 15 laps into the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. While we look at our fans challenge drivers, I'm looking out the window here to see where they are, and they're pretty much still in the back of this field. Junior Snow, Burt Myers, and Jason Myers going for the bonus cash tonight, $3,000 if they can make it up to the top 4, Bob. And the fans challenge Chargers, these are the last drivers that have won this.
The showstopper has been good. He's won the last 3. He's picked up a lot of cash. That's what, 18, 23, 24,000, something like that. That's a lot of money for a team like Chris Fleming. And Danny Bone also in the field, but none of those guys going after the cash here today. It's Junior Snow and the Myers boys.
And it's great to see 3 drivers put on the fans challenge tonight and thrill these fans around Bowman Gray Stadium tonight. You know, we're not a packed house tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium, but, geez, I still think we're about 10,000 strong here, 8 to 10,000 strong. What a field. What a field of modifieds, you know, 26 strong today, and the grandstands are looking pretty good too.
You know, the other driver that could have had a shot at the Fans Challenge here tonight. I
believe he
wonder
did it.
if he's regretting it.
I think he is.
Because Brandon Ward, think about it. He would have been starting, 23rd, 24th, something like that.
Tell him why,
He
though.
started 19th because of the redraw, so he probably should have taken the Fans Challenge.
Because fans that don't understand that, you qualify in the top 4. You can elect to start in the rear, but hey, they redraw the field anyway, so it's a assumed risk.
And I just want to mention something about Brandon Ward. He had a good run in the opener,
Yes.
but this team with Kevin Powell Speed Motorsports and the Polaris Off-Road team really kind of dialing in a new car here at Bowman Gray Stadium with this Fury chassis. They make the switch, and I think after that first round of racing a couple weeks ago, they're getting to understand this race car. And Brandon told me today, he says, you know what, a couple more times we'll know exactly what we need out of this 04.
And the 100 lappers are a great way to come here and test. Come here in the morning, come here in the afternoon, lots of practice time. 17 laps on the scoreboard right now. Modified sideways to the green flag. Lee Jeffries to the spot. And here comes Slate Myers filling in the hole, trying to get second.
Wow, some bumper tag action there. Look at Holloman trying to squeeze Slate Myers down into turns 3 and 4. He's sideways coming off the corner. So is young Slate Myers.
Slate Myers and them side by side into the south turn. Give P2 to Slate Myers, the 4th generation star, moving on up, and the Sprague Street Kid is behind him in the 69.
Side by side battle for 5th, 6th, 7th. Little contact from Dara to Riley Neal. Neal thinks he's got a good race car here tonight. Said he had a good car in the opener and just had circumstantial stuff happen to him. Side by side almost for the lead between Lee Jeffries and Slate Myers.
Wow, some bumper tag going on up front right now. Slate Myers just getting into the back of Lee Jeffries, number 75. Things calm down just for a little bit here. It's 22 laps into the 100.
Danny Bone making a charge in the 57. Danny Bone very strong. Gotta love the gold leaf lettering on that race car. That just screams New Jersey at Wall Stadium. But he's brought his prowess for so many years here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Part-time competitor, runs all of the big shows. But right now, so many drivers struggling to get around. Andrew Hara in that number 3 car.
Hara right now, that car looks a little tight in the center of the corner. Gerstner looking high, Gerstner looking low, trying to find a way around that black number 3 right now. Danny Bone sitting patiently behind him, wondering which way they're going to go, but things are tightening up at the front of this field as we look on the double box of Flow Racing. The 6 car getting into Lee Jeffries. Every corner, they're bunched up like an accordion. The 6 looks low, heading into turn 3.
Lee Jeffries got to look in his rearview mirror and says, I got another generation of the Myers family hitting my back bumper. But Lee Jeffries holding on so far, but he's got the pressure of 17-year-old Slate Myers, who has not yet won a race here. And Hara up into the wall off of turn number 2 to bring out the caution.
Well, that's why we were showing it to you on the double box. There's so much going on here at Bowman Gray Stadium that our crew did a great job to show you everything. The lead battle, right? But also what was going on through the mid-pack there. And the battle between Gerstner and Hara and that number 3 car resulted in some contact, and you saw the number 3 up into the wall.
He's got a bunch of damage to the right front suspension on that race car. We'll take a look at the replay on our Flow Racing broadcast. Great job by our production team to capture this. And there is Hara on the outside of Jeremy Gerstner. Gerstner kind of gets a little bit loose and goes right into the side of that number 3 machine.
That wheel-to-wheel contact right there that happened when the number 55 slid that machine, and you saw the right rear, and then right there, hopping over the Nerf bar, is the number 3 car, and then he gets gently into the outside wall. But I think his night is over, Bob.
And I think that Gerstner and Hara both had very tight race cars all day long. So to see them drift high and then have to get back on the gas and kick it sideways, not a surprise.
Well, you know, Bob, everybody thinks when you see a car sideways that they're loose. And that's not true. That 55 right there was tight in the center of the corner, which meant he had wheel in it.
Yes.
And when he got in the throttle, it whipped around. But, hey, you know what we should do as the Daniel Davis towed vehicle? Big Red comes up to this car. I think we should take a break. Let's take a quick break on Flow Racing as they tow Hara's car off and come back 29 laps into the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. We are back here live on Flow Racing, and you see the Citrus Safe Gator pulling off the track with Andrew Hara on it, and that's the cause of this caution contact between he and the 55 of Gerstner. But before he got into that, Bob, he wasn't very happy, was he?
No, but you know what? He didn't show the finger that you don't want to see on TV. He just said, thumbs up to you, Jeremy Gerstner. Good job, buddy. Not too happy with that 55. But really, both of those cars not handling the way they should. And I think that's really circumstantial in terms of what caused that wreck.
That's not the finger that we're used to here at Bowman Gray Stadium, is it?
That's what it's saying.
It's bird season.
It's the number one thumb.
Yeah, it's the thumb.
So let's talk a little bit about this car right here, because, you know, the Fleming family has been so important in the culture of Southern modified racing, but this kid really has not gotten the shot that he deserves. You know, Jordan Fleming, the son of Chris Fleming, Chris was talking to us today. He said, you know what, this kid is such a good driver, but so much attention has been on, you know, other people in that family.
Yep.
And this is his shot. This race car, you know, he's driving the Crab Smith number 99,
yep.
right? But this is a good race car. This is a good kid behind the wheel. I believe that you could see this kid pull off a victory or two this season here at Bowman Gray.
No doubt. If you look at his performance 2 years ago in the Cookout Classic, okay, if you look at some of the races he's run in his limited schedule, you know, he's got the best car he's ever driven in. This is a former Ronnie Williams car. Of course, Ronnie Williams of Tour, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour stardom. And, of course, we saw Ronnie Williams do so well in Speed Weeks. So great to see, you know, him get a shot in this. Here's a guy that's won 3 times at Bowman Gray, but it was in a sportsman car once. It was in the stadium stocks. You know, he drove a Mustang, a fluorescent orange Mustang back then, a beautiful race car. But as far as in a modified, he hasn't gotten his fair shake. You know, we've seen Luke, his brother, get a fair shake. So, you know, to see the Fleming family put some attention, and Crab Smith and Taylor Auto Parts, what they're doing to get him this chance is amazing.
So many stories here, and Jordan is certainly one of them. But if you look through that field, and there's a car right there, it's blue, it's black, it's, you know, orange, the number 10 car. I want to talk a little bit about the guy we call the Bulldog, you know, Mike Speeney. What a good year last year.
Yes.
But you see this car?
What?
We're not going to see it possibly in some of the Twin 25s in the rest of the year. He's going to be running a different car. They're hoping to get it out maybe for next week, if not for next week.
Oh, please tell me.
For some of the upcoming Twin 25 weeks.
What is it going to look like? Tell me, please.
It's going to be like a tan camo-looking race car with QRC busting out the door panel. But the strategy for this is really interesting. And what Speeney was telling me today is that, you know what? When you run a 100-lapper, you run a 200-lapper here, it takes a different setup, different everything in the race car. But to run a Twin 25, it's completely different. He says, I'm tired of switching everything around. And sometimes you can't get a car when you go from one setup to the next. You can't get it the same the next time. The repeatability is not there.
Yep.
So what he's doing and going after this championship, and he's making a concerted effort this year to win this title, is he's going to bring 2 cars to the table. That tan one, you're going to see that in some of the twin races, and this car is going to be his extra distance machine at Bowman Gray this year.
Well, coming off an 8th place finish, not a bad run the first night out, but he did get into a little bit of a tangle with the Myers family, with Burt Myers, and a little bit with Jason as well.
That has never happened here, right?
Never has there been a billboard put out on Route 52. You know, we've never seen any controversy between the Myers and Speeney, but hey, you never know.
I heard about some new ideas for some new billboards maybe later this year.
Oh, well, it's great. Hey, like today they actually had a nice billboard with Speeney's modified as I rolled up 52 North here, you know, and love seeing a modified on a billboard.
You got to love the drama of the Madhouse.
Well, the driver on the point right now, he didn't have a good week last week. He finished 14th in the Hayes Jewelers 200, but right now he is in the best spot in the house. And that is the great Lee Jeffries. The number 75 leads him to green.
I think it's only a matter of time before the front bumper gets connected really hard to the back bumper of the 75. Side by side for third. Holloman drifts a little bit high. Trey Hutchins hanging on. Here comes Riley Neal to the inside of the 14 for fourth.
All those battles right now all over this racetrack. We're seeing a lot of them side by side. Gerstner on the back bumper of the number 14 car of Hutchins. Bone doing it the hard way on the outside, and that black and red number 57. Look at him go, Bob.
Danny Bone has been a rocket ship no matter what race car he's run this year. You mentioned led a bunch of laps of the opener, leading the Smart Modified Tour points in a different race car. 3 wins to his credit over there, and we got a little bit of a stack up in turn number 4.
Jackson Casper has gone around, and the number 4 car of Jason Myers, who is going for that Fans Challenge bonus. The number 47 of Casper making his debut here at the Madhouse. And it looks like big damage on the number 4 of Jason Myers.
Yeah,
oh, boy.
He's done for sure. Broken left front suspension on the number 4 machine for the 42-time winner in NASCAR modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium. We call him the working man, right?
Yep.
Worked for UPS, has been a long-time UPS employee, and still gets home, works on his race cars at night, and comes racing every single weekend at Bowman Gray Stadium, and keeps his nephew's car up, Slate Myers, for the Smart Modified Tour.
Well, Myers climbing from that number 4 choice tire machine and looking at the damage on the left front, and he's going to be done for the night. And there is Jackson Casper's car. Squeaky's got him stopped down there in turn number 1.
You know what I was thinking about Jackson Casper, by the way? You see Myers very frustrated. And you got to understand the effort that these guys put in is just incredible. But in speaking about Jackson Casper and that number 47 machine, did you see him at the driver's meeting? I mean, if he curled his mustache a little bit, he kind of looked like the old pitcher Rollie Fingers in Major League Baseball.
He did, man. Jackson Casper, the friendly ghost, he's got himself quite a character right there. He's got the Casper on the side of the car, and there is Jason Myers now walking back. And as he walks back to the pit area, let's you guys give you a chance to go walk to the refrigerator and grab yourself a lemonade as we take a sip of ours in the booth. We'll be back on Flow Racing. We're back live on Flow Racing at historic Bowman Gray Stadium, getting you set here for Green Flag Racing pretty soon for the Madhouse and the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 for the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds. Bob Dillner, as they tow the number 4 car off. This has been a wild one so far.
It has, and I got my eye on the driver who's in the 4th spot right now, Riley Neal. He's got the Twin City Thunderbirds. That's a local hockey team in the area. He's got a Thunderbirds player with us today, actually helping out on the crew. So maybe a little bit of a good luck charm, maybe provide that luck that Riley Neal really needs to get his first victory in NASCAR modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium. He's been close. He's finished second to Jason Myers, right? He's been up there in the top 5 consistently. Well, Riley told me earlier today that he believes this car is on point. And he's got Carson Lofton helping him out with the setup on that race car right now, doing a lot of work.
And he's also working on the car that he's pulling up alongside Lofton is.
Indeed. So Carson Lofton, not just a good race car driver in the ZMAX Cars Tour as well as the Smart Modified Tour, but really loves working on race cars. Riley really appreciates that. And Riley told me today, and I'm seeing this out of him right now, he's showing that patience that we didn't see in past years here. And he said, listen, I'm going to sort of ride. I'm going to take the spots as they come in the first 80 laps. I'm going after it in the final 20.
Well, this kid's got the bowl. He's got the brawn. He's got the raw car control and
he looks
speed,
like a hockey player.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with the Neils. Let's just put it that way. But, like seeing him, tone down and slow down his thinking and not just be get on the gas and sideways. I think that's the next step for Riley Neal. This is a young race car driver that proved in the sportsman ranks that he simply can just drive a damn race car. And we're seeing that tonight so far. The youngsters that last year showed a little bit of maybe too much raw and too much, well, let's just put it this way. They got into each other with Slate Myers and Riley Neal. Tonight we're seeing them kind of comfortably here in the top 5 about midway into this one.
So Riley Neal should be a threat for the victory here tonight. Still, before halfway here, 44 laps complete out of 100. There is the CitraSafe Grill Cleaners machine for Burt Myers. We know how good he is here with all those wins and the championships. But Burt Myers right now, mired way back in this field, not able to pick up the spots I would have expected out of Burt Myers. But by the way, you see that orange bumper on the front end of that machine?
Oh.
It's tilted up. I wonder how much tilted up the Orange Bumper podcast will be. One of my favorite listens.
I love it.
In terms of podcasts.
Skip.
Indeed, it's just awesome to honestly listen to all the things that they talk about in terms of modified racing and racing in general across the country.
Well, the fans have their checkered flags out, and they're loving leaning over the facade of the stadium there by the Winston-Salem Journal sign. That's because we're going green flag racing. Now, back to the green comes Lee Jeffries sideways with Slate Myers on the outside. Now, will Slate be able to get to the bottom? That's the big question as they go side by side down into the north turn.
Slate Myers using up that right rear to stay alongside of Jeffries. 75. A bold move to go to the outside on this one, but he says, I want the win. He's not able to pull off the move there. Going to settle back into second side by side for the 4th spot between Danny Bone and Riley Neal.
Danny Bone is putting on a show. They say he's bad to the bone, and he's proving it right now. And Neal gets sideways in 1 and 2 and hangs on to it, but give the 4 spot to Danny Bone.
Great job by both drivers just behind that. Some other drivers side by side, about 3 positions behind that. Jeremy Gerstner being hung out to dry on the outside. Chris Fleming gets by him. And we got a car going around. I believe it's Jordan Fleming on the backstretch to bring out the caution.
Fleming's Peterbilt machine spins wildly into the infield in the grass on the back straightaway. He rejoins the field just in front of the Flying Taco to bring out yet another yellow flag halfway into this one with Lee Jeffries at the point. I think we're going to have a hurry up yellow flag here, it appears.
Bad break there for Jordan Fleming. We just talked about how hard he's been working behind this machine. A couple-year-old Troyer machine for the 99 team, and hoping to have some good runs, but might not come tonight here at Bowman Gray Stadium. So halfway through this one, now my favorite number, lap 51 in the books of 100 for the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100-lapper for the NASCAR mods at the Madhouse.
Well, that is our dad's number.
Indeed.
Yeah, Dad raced to 51. That's always been our family number. Let's take a look at the Hudson Auto Works replay to see what happened there. Oh, man, I couldn't tell really because it wasn't backed up too much to really see what the genesis of that contact was between he and Brandon Ward and that 04 car.
Yeah, tough to tell for sure. Both of those drivers, it looked like Jordan kind of right there. Maybe Brandon Ward just shot up the racetrack a little bit while Jordan was trying to come down, and the two made contact. And now Brandon Ward needing a push in that Polaris Off-Road 04.
Ward getting a push. Maybe we could take a look at this replay here and see once again. This is a little bit earlier in the turn, and it'll be coming on the left side of your screen will be a white number 04 car and the black 99. You see it entering your screen right there, the 04 to the bottom. The 99 gets a little loose and looks like he's going to try to cut down to the bottom right there, and the two just make contact. Yeah,
Brandon Ward really just kept his line there, but obviously Jordan Fleming trying to rescue his car after going a little bit higher in the corner than he wanted to, and just kind of broke that back end free ever so slightly and came down the racetrack just to make that contact with the 04.
Oh, now trouble. The 04 getting a push and not being able to refire, and it looks like they're going to pull that Kevin Powell Motorsports machine. with QO 104.1 into the pit area behind the field house. So a big plot point for this race, 52 laps in, as Ward goes behind the field house for work. Wonder if that's going to be terminal. Couldn't get that car refired. We look to the flag stand. I believe maybe next time around we should get the choose cone, which will be where the leader can choose the inside or the outside. There is Tim Brown's car, the Rocket, the number 83 machine, last week's winner.
And he's just outside the top 10 right now in that 11th spot. You would figure maybe he would want to be a little bit closer to the front of this field, but Tim Brown picking up some spots for sure. He started deep in the field, 21st, so he's gained 10 spots already in the first half of the race. What will he be able to do? If there's a master, Tim Brown, the Rocket, certainly that guy. 106 wins all time for Tim Brown, and they came into this season with a vengeance. We were talking to Tim just briefly here today. 2 brand new race cars, and Tim Brown hoping to pull off what only a few drivers have, 9 overall to win the 200 and then the next race.
And you see the cars right there choosing inside and outside. You said before, a bold move for Slate Myers going to the outside. He does it yet again. On the second row on the outside will be Danny Bone. Give you a quick update for the fans' choice drivers going for that bonus. Junior Snow sits in 10th position. He would need 6 more spots to get into the fans' challenge bonus. Burt Myers in 15th.
Lee Jeffries and the 17-year-old Slate Myers on the front row. Coming to the restart, lap 54. Myers quickly jumps back to the inside to protect his spot, but Danny Bone's not going to have anything with that. Danny Bone in the 57 rockets into second.
What a charge by the New Jersey driver. He's one of the hottest drivers in Southern Modified racing right now. And now he gives a wrap to the back bumper of the number 75 of Lee Jeffries. Danny Bone is in the 2 spot.
It's Lee Jeffries, Danny Bone, Slate Myers, John Holloman, and Riley Neal, your top 5. Side by side behind that for 6 between Chris Fleming and Trey Hutchins.
That's the battle on your screen that everybody is watching. You've got 3 to 4 rows of cars side by side around the tight confines of the quarter mile. Oh, they are clinking Nerf bars down the front straightaway, now down the back straightaway.
Oh, trouble. In turn number 2, this will bring out the caution once again, just as things started to get cooking there around that 10th spot. We have several cars, Jackson Casper, Daniel Beeson, looked like the Flying Taco involved in that one,
Randy
as
Butner.
is Randy Butner, indeed.
A big pile up in turn number 1 and turn number 2, and this will give us a little bit of a break here, Bob, to catch our breaths, but also let's let you at home catch your breath. Let's take a quick break here on Flow Racing. We are 59 laps into the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100, and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Bowman Gray Stadium. We're used to seeing T-shirts, right, Bob? We're not used to seeing blankets. It's actually a cool Carolina night here at Bowman Gray Stadium. it's kind of a refreshing night.
Hey, I'm up in Boone, North Carolina. When I go home, we got freeze warnings tonight. So,
jeez.
Yes, indeed.
No, thank you.
There's Slate Myers, and there is John Holloman. And Holloman's so good here at Bowman Gray Stadium through a variety of divisions over the years. But interesting choice by Holloman. He has this race car, which is a little bit newer than the other car that he runs. And the other car is actually, it's a former Junior Miller car. His other car, he ran in the 200 lapper a couple of weeks ago. But he decided to go with this one. And Brian Lofton has been tuning these race cars for Holloman. And Brian Lofton has said, listen, John, this car is just so good. So John, during the driver's meeting, told me, hey, I'm going to choose what Brian Lofton told me to do, and he's running that newer car here today at Bowman Gray.
And he's kind of been reluctant to do so. So it's interesting to see how he's running tonight, running very well in this race. And he wants to come out of this race with feel good because he had to leave vacation to come up here. So they were down in Destin, Florida, him and his wife and his 2 kids.
And to come to Winston-Salem. Wow.
They went from Destin to Winston-Salem. So hopefully he'll go from Destin to Destiny tonight. Dad
look
joke.
At
it's
you.
okay. Yeah.
Look at you. You're a 2-time dad. I get it. Listen, I got a couple up on you. I'm a 5-time dad, so I could probably pull out some as well. Lee Jeffries controlling the pace of this one. Danny Bone on the outside. Can Bone pull off the move? He's been awfully good on the outside. Look at Danny Bone, strong off of turn number 2, but Jeffries, the veteran, holding his line on the bottom side of the 75. They bang Nerf bars off of 4.
Jeffries and Bone in a classic duel here at the Madhouse. Clean driving by both of these competitors right now. 2 to 3 laps now, side by side, thrilling the fans at Bowman Gray.
Danny Bone knows this is his shot. Riley Neal
they
goes
get together.
Around. Contact. Danny Bone goes around. We had Riley Neal spinning on the front stretch. And Lee Jeffries with the lead. Danny Bone spun and continues. That'll be an interesting ruling.
Well, here's the thing, folks, and this is what the drama will be. The yellow flag looked like it was coming out for the 07 car of Riley Neal, who spun to the bottom. Meanwhile, on our camera, we saw the contact between those 2 drivers resulting in the spin. So will the 57 Bob get his spot back? This will be interesting.
My professional opinion is that caution was coming out for Riley Neal, but you would have to see if the caution was truly out prior to Danny Bone spinning. Danny Bone obviously is going to say, hey, I'm back up front here. I thought he might have been saying like, hey, I didn't like that, Lee Jeffries.
They're giving him the 2 spot back?
Indeed. That's the right call
I think
right
so
there.
Too.
I really do, because Riley Neal, we saw it, and we were starting to call the Riley Neal spin because he was running very well, and then all of a sudden we saw the contact between the 75 and the 57. So the right move by the NASCAR modified officials here at Bowman Gray to give Danny Bone that spot back. And look at who. We'll take a look at the replay here on Flow Racing. Watch Riley Neal. He and Holloman kind of get into it a little bit. Neal hit the inside berm, and that kind of set things up. And then he spins. Speedy had no place to go. But while that was happening, the caution flag starting to come out, and then the contact down in 1 and 2 between Bone and Lee Jeffries.
I'll tell you what, that might have just saved Danny Bone's race. You know, if you think about it right there, they were racing so hard, so clean. Contact at this place is just imminent. It's not always intentional. It's just imminent. And you saw that there where 2 drivers are trying to race hard but clean, and that's just what happens.
I love your Destin line, by the way.
I think most people are thinking that's like some Havarti cheese.
You know what you haven't mentioned tonight? You haven't mentioned Little Donuts. I think everybody's going to be so disappointed that you have not mentioned
except for Facebook. They hate when I mention it. But I'd say fire up the Facebook. But Zach's, he's so busy driving a stadium stock that I think they forgot about me.
Okay.
There's the Little Donuts. Oh, great. Thanks a lot, Elgin. I'm sitting here hungry, starving for a donut, withering away in a booth, just sticking bones right here. And meanwhile, there's people sitting there waiting online, getting apple cider donuts, little donuts, one of the greatest concession stand items in short track racing.
I thought you called yourself the Pontiac Dillner.
I am the Pontiac Dillner, wider. You're the better Dillner.
You're
the better looking Dillner. No. You're narrower. Yeah, I mean, we want some donuts. Even the truck is commenting on that.
By the way, just got a shout out from Tommy Lancaster, actually down in Key West, watching tonight's races, and he's the sponsor with Citrus Safe on Burt Meyer's #1 machine.
Danny Bone, 3 times he's gone to victory lane in Southern Modified Racing with the Smart Modified Tour this season. He almost won the 200, led so many laps. Now he's on the outside. Can he make it stick on the outside of the great Lee Jeffries, who's controlled this entire race?
Here we go. Sideways is Lee Jeffries. Danny Bone to the lead in the 100-lapper.
Jeffries was sideways. Bone loves to see that. Also, Slate Myers was all over the back bumper of Jeffries when he jacked it sideways. Now we're looking at Holloman. John Holloman on the outside. Does it the hard way, getting his car to the bottom in turn #1. Give him P2.
Little Superman-esque is John Holloman in second. Mike Spini up to 4th. A bump from Slate Myers to the back bumper of Spini, and here comes the rocket. Tim Brown as well on the outside of Chris Fleming.
Spini just bulldogged his way into the 4 spot. Now everybody's looking at the rocket. The orange number 83 on the outside, chugging it the hard way. On the outside of the showstopper. Battle is on for the 3rd position. Spini now takes it. Lee Jeffries, he gets by him. Here comes Slate Myers to the outside. Possibly some trouble for the 75.
I don't know if he's got a tire going down or what, but that car is ill. Wicked handling on the 75. He can't get off the corner and get on the gas. So Jeffries going bye-bye in the latter stages of this race. It's all Danny Bone and John Holloman up top. Tim Brown trying to work his way through the field. Tim Brown now moves into the 7th spot in that Jerry Hunt Supercenters machine.
And there goes Burt Myers. Following him on the outside is the driver of the black and orange Citrus Safe #1 as a battle is developing right now for the lead.
And remember, Fans Choice competitor, that is Burt Myers on the right side of your screen. Battle for the lead on the left side of your screen. Danny Bone trying to hold off John Holloman in the 69 machine.
A little tap to the back bumper. Oh, he's got a little daylight and a little smoke between the tires of those 2 machines as they battle for the lead. Bone doesn't give up the spot and protects the bottom.
Danny Bone's going to be tough to pass. Remember, he cut his teeth at Wall Stadium and then came here. He knows how to lead. He knows how to block. He knows how to wrestle a car, a NASCAR modified around a quarter-mile oval. And Danny Bone, a little gap now between he and the 69 as the caution comes out.
Danny Probst, the Flying Taco, has spun in the cilantro coming off of turn #4. You see that beautiful hand-painted machine for the man that was once called the Two-Toed Machado. But no hood on the race car of that 00.
We need a new contest. You talked about Facebook. I don't care whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever, but I know Bowman Gray Stadium fans, they love Facebook. But I want to know each week, Matthew comes up with these great lines. I want to know what your favorite line of the night each week is from Matthew Dillner. There's a contest.
Honestly, I don't know. I think they need to do it. I've got my favorites because I just get charged up at the beginning of every modified race, and that's been in me since I was a child. But there is the 64 coming around the outside. He's going to come.
I've been broadcasting for I don't know how many years, but I've never mentioned cilantro on the air.
Well, tacos and cilantro, they go together. Let's toss it to a quick break because we've lost our minds up here at Bowman Gray Stadium. The brothers are having too much fun calling a modified race. What do you know? Let's take a quick 60. The scoreboard reads 81. 100 laps is the distance for this modified race. Danny Bone on the inside will restart with John Holloman to the outside. Holloman getting a little bit of a jump now, and they throw the yellow flag.
Does John Holloman see something on the racetrack? That's the only thing that I can think of here, is that maybe he saw something. He gets a little pointing to, but Holloman's still jumping out in front of the field.
You know, there was a discussion in the drivers' meeting where Danny Bone brought up how many times could you theoretically maybe fire and jump the restart, but he is the control car, he is the leader. So he's in the position once they hit the restart box that he is the one to fire first. But there's cat and mouse games all the time, especially here at the Madhouse.
Holloman playing one of those games right now, but he slides a little bit in those rear tires and jumps back into second. Oh, man, everybody all sorts of sideways down in 1 and 2.
Junior Snow now almost gets into the wall. He's one of those fans' choice drivers on the outside. Holloman now moves back into the P2 spot. Slate Myers cuts down in front of the Bulldog. Contact between the bumpers, and now Myers goes around, gets walloped in turn number 2.
The Bulldog pile drives Slate Myers after some contact from Slate Myers to the number 10. Myers spinning his wheels, trying to pull away there, and those cars are connected. And how about the Jerry Hunt Supercenter machine for Tim Brown, the winner of the 200 a couple of weeks ago to open the season? Tough break here. He's the innocent victim of this one down in turn number 2. And Chris Fleming, trouble again for him in 2 consecutive races.
It looks like Slate Myers is done. That great run that the driver of the Bryson Brothers Aerial Solutions 6 has had is over here. 85 laps into the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Now, the plot. Bumper tag once again between a guy with the last name of Myers, this time Slate, with Speeney's number 10. Interesting here at the stadium.
Speeney always tells us, I like to provide you with some interesting TV.
Well, there is Mike Speeney's wildly colorful number 10 machine.
Look at that front bumper on that machine. You talk about hitting somebody hard. That looks like he rammed Slate Myers. Slate Myers has climbed out of his car looking at the front suspension on that number 6 machine. But let's take a look at the replay of what happened between Slate Myers in the number 6 and Speeney in the number 10. Here's where it all started. Speeney getting into the back of Myers. Myers spinning around. And actually they had some contact just prior to that, about a half a lap before as well.
Well, the plot thickens. Myers is out of his race car. Looking at the damage, assessing it, is the 17-year-old driver. Very rare, we can say, 4th-generation athlete. Sorry, Stephen A. Smith. In any sport. But Slate Myers, an athlete, and right now he is frustrated.
Let's look at the replay, and we're going to take it back a little bit more this time because there was some extracurricular activity with, here it goes, the number 10 getting into the 6. He tries to shove it down in here. Holloman on the inside, and here's a little bit of contact, I believe, or maybe it's not.
You know, he's trying to fill that hole right there, and you see Slate come down.
There it is. There it is. The contact, and that's what I saw originally. I couldn't remember how far back it was, but Slate Myers closed the door hard, and I think, you know, those eyes just turned red for the number 10 machine.
Slate Myers is not happy. Here comes the 4th-generation driver to the left side of Mike Speeney's machine. He crouches beside Speeney's car. The 2 drivers now discussing what happened there in the south turn. Myers not happy, making his thoughts known to the Bulldog.
Look at Speeney just shaking his head no. Absolutely not. You're wrong, kid. That's what he's telling Slate Myers. But Slate Myers conducted himself very well right there and trying to explain what was going on from his mindset.
You know, that's rare, Bob. Good point. You're a dad, okay? When you see your 17-year-old, you know, like Slate, he's in the field of competition, okay? And when you see him have the maturity to walk and not run and be a hothead and try to punch a guy or anything like that, and walk to the side and make his point known to the other race car driver, Mike Spini, that's maturity. And you know, a dad like Burt Myers, who's now 2 spots, I think, behind Mike Spini, should be proud of.
And listen, when my daughter Megan raced, I remember when she got into an
you
incident.
never got excited.
Well, I always told her, I said, listen, go over there, walk over there, and tell the person that you didn't appreciate it. Don't go over there with, you know, just anxiety and emotion. Go over there and say, didn't appreciate that, your time's coming. And that usually happens on the racetrack, but Slate Myers going over there, giving his point of view to Mike Spini, and now he's going to take that long ride back to the pit area.
Does Eric Messer know how to drive that thing? You know, this is the first time. That's usually Jimmy that drives the CitraSafe machine. And now Messer, he's trying to get it in gear there. Slate might have to get out and drive. Poor Eric. Poor Eric. Come on, Eric. Get that thing in gear, buddy.
Yeah, he does not know how to
He's a photographer. He's not a tracker, but he's doing his best to help out Jimmy and them as they really tend to the fluid that's down on the track.
Poor Eric.
Poor Eric right now, Slate.
Take the cameras off of this.
No, I love it. Old Blue is out there. My favorite tow truck, by the way, right there.
Slate should probably drive that.
I think
it would
yeah,
be
but I'd
better
be
suited
scared
for
to
Slate.
see Slate drive it. Sorry, Eric, you're done. Go back to shooting.
I want to look at that replay one more time here, because I think that last replay that we showed exactly what happened, you know, coming down the front stretch, where Slate threw an aggressive block at Mike Spini. I think Mike Spini, with all the history of the Myers family, said, I don't like that, dude. I was going to be there. And that's why we saw the contact down in the corner. So we'll take a look at this one more time. And watch Slate Myers, the left part of your screen. He's on the outside of the 69 of Holloman.
And you see what happens there. The 10 car, Spini, has to fill that hole. He's trying to get that spot. Now, with the drive off on the outside, Slate Myers' spotter is saying, okay, get down, there's a hole, get down, there's a hole. He gets down, little bit of contact there. Spini let off, but this next contact sends him around. Boom.
And really, that, I'm not sticking up for anybody here, but that's so hard to judge down there, because Holloman was checking up a little bit with what looked like a tight race car. Slate had to check up, and guess what? Spini was not able to check up as much, and I'm sure seeing that Myers car in front of him, who knows? Slate Myers, long walk back to the pit area here. We still got 15 to go in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 for the NASCAR mods at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Welcome back to a place affectionately known as the Madhouse, where good short track racing happens. Sometimes emotions overflow. Sometimes it's drama and family drama and on-track drama. And right now we're seeing a little bit of all of it. Slate Myers just got taken out. Well, some people will say it was his own doing. Some people will say, well, it was to the front, from the front bumper of Mike Spini. The Spini and the Myers have not been getting along, dating back to last year. Now all three Myers have had tussles with the Pennsylvania native. Let's see what happens, because the number 10 car, depending on this choose, is going to line up right next to that number 1 or next to front bumper to rear bumper. But, Bob, I want to add one thing real quick. In the 3rd spot right now is a pink and black number 51 car.
How about that?
He qualified for the first time, the pink and black number 51 for the first time. He qualified in the top 4 in 100 and got to choose the Fans Challenge. Elected to start in the rear. He is now up to the 3 spot. If he stays here, he gets a $3,000 bonus. Now, behind him is the other driver in that bonus program, Burt Myers. The famed orange bumper sits in the number 5 spot. Will he get the bonus? Will he use that orange bumper possibly to avenge the contact with his son? The number 10 car and the number 1 will keep an eye on it, but everybody's eyes are on the leaders. Coming back to green, lap 87.
Look at Holloman, another cat and mouse game there. Holloman, did he jump? Big question, might not matter though. Danny Bohm back to the lead. Here comes Junior Snow underneath the 69, battling for 2nd.
Junior Snow says, I want that bonus, but more importantly, I want that win. He's never won a 100-lapper here at the stadium. Now, we have 2 drivers within the Fans Challenge bonus as contact shifts the number 69 up a groove. Holloman's going backwards.
Oh, Holloman almost into Kyle Southern coming down the front stretch. And we got the yellow flag that is out. And is that Jackson Casper? Hard to see with all that smoke.
Yes, it is Jackson Casper, the Riggs Racing number 47. Machine up in smoke here in the infield grass. Is that young racer graduating from the 602 modified ranks. And the Riggs name, if you know Junior Miller and Andy Seiss and so many who have graced this famed quarter mile.
By the way, shout out Andy Seiss.
Yes.
You know, his team in the Arca Menard Series, the big win with Andy Jankowiak last week at Talladega.
As we look at the steam pouring from Jackson Casper's machine, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I just want to say some thoughts and prayers to some people in our modified community. Last week, we lost one of the true greats in modified racing in the South, Gerald Compton. A 12-time winner here at Bowman Gray Stadium, also a winner of the 350. A guy that's won so many races here in the South, from Virginia to North Carolina, in both modifieds and late model sportsmen. Gerald Compton, a true gentleman racer. Our thoughts and prayers to his family as we remember Gerald Compton tonight at Bowman Gray. We'll be back. Welcome back to a beautiful night here at historic Bowman Gray Stadium. And you know what? I would love to be in the stands. I love the booth, but there's nothing like sitting in the stands here. And you know what? There's nary a night where you could sit in the stands at Bowman Gray Stadium in a hoodie or in a blanket. That's actually really cool. It reminds me maybe those Easter Monday races or the New Year's races here where you see the pictures back in the day of them all, you know, snuggled up in heavy blankets. And yeah, there's Jackson Casper walking back to the field house.
Sluggishly.
He's not happy.
A little bit frustrated after his night comes to an end. That's a long walk, and there are some people Is that some S&P lemonade?
I
I'm not
think it
sure.
is. I don't
Maybe
know.
some boiled peanuts or something in the bag.
Boiled peanuts. Oh, there's Eric Messer.
Oh, you're
our
not gonna,
beloved
you're not
track
do it
photographer.
Again.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say Eric Messer just texted me and said I could just feel you talking about me because he can't hear it down there.
You know he got text.
He said he couldn't get it into drive. So, Eric, it's okay. You're a great photographer. You just might not be the guy to operate, the Citrus Safe, side by side there. Sorry, bud.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I like Eric.
Yeah, he does
Apparently
does
better
a
than
great
you
job.
do.
No, he's my guy.
Oh,
full moon is out.
look at that beautiful shot.
It is beautiful. We're going to double up this time by. The double up, I love it because we need the cone back, first of all. We've got this thing painted on the ground. You see like an orange thing painted on the ground there. I like the cone because you can really tell if you're in the grandstands when the choose cone comes out because you would see Matt Garrison do it. There's Squeaky. Telling them to double up this time.
Everybody in racing, especially officials, have nicknames. You got Squeaky there. We have Cornbread here. We got Hush Puppy. We got all sorts of people.
Robert next to me here in the booth. He doesn't have one.
He
We gotta
doesn't.
come up with one.
Just Robert.
Here we go to the choose. Danny Bone is going to choose the inside. Junior Snow
here we
goes
go.
to the outside. The aggressive young race car driver putting it to the top. He wants to win this 100 lapper. Burt Myers to the bottom behind Bone. The Bulldog, his nemesis, to the outside in the 10 machine. Mason Lawson having a great run right now, up to the 6th position for the driver of the number 82. Coming to 6 laps to go. We're even standing up in the booth because we know this is going to be a good one. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here it comes. The finale, the finish of the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. To the green goes Danny Bone.
Danny Bone with a good restart in front of Junior Snow. Burt Myers up to 3rd, and guess who's right behind him? Mike Speeney.
Speeney gently to the back bumper of the number 1 car. They're now single file all the way around the quarter mile. 5 laps to go.
What will Junior Snow do? Can he get to the back bumper, just move ever so slightly Danny Bone up the racetrack? He's going to have to do it on the entrance to the corner.
You look right there. Danny Bone played masterful defense, slowing down his car in the center of the corner to thwart the front bumper advance of Junior Snow. That right there is veteran driving.
By the way, Mason Lawson having himself a good run just outside the top 5 tonight in the 6th spot. Good run for Mason. No contact. Several contacts right there between Myers and Speeney.
These cars like to clank iron. The back I-beam bumper is going to get a workout here in the closing laps. And 2 laps to go. It gets a big shot in turn 4.
1 to go. Danny Bone trying to hold on for the 100-lap win here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Bone sails it off slowly into the turn. A big shot from the back bumper from Junior Snow, but no, his 20th career win at Bowman Gray. Danny Bone does it.
Danny Bone, 7 career wins in 100-lap contest at the Madhouse.
What a valiant effort from the front bumper and the great drive from the rear by Junior Snow and the number 1 of Burt Myers, who finishes third. Those 2 drivers win the fans challenge. $3,000. They split it between the 2 of them. $1,500 to each competitor. But the winner, the hottest driver in Southern Modified Racing right now, whether it's in Mike Andretti's number 25 in the Smart Modified Tour or here at the famed quarter mile in the number 57 North American Construction Machine, Danny Bone is red hot.
4 wins in 2026 for the driver from Freehold, New Jersey. 3 on the Smart Modified Tour, and now 1 in NASCAR Modified competition at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Another generational talent, but not one from down south. His grandfather, Parker Bone, one of the great drivers in New Jersey history. His dad, a great driver as well, Eddie Bone. His brother has won races here in the modified division, but Danny himself is a 2014 champion and one of the great drivers in the 100.
And Danny Bowman becomes the 31st driver to win 20 modified races here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
As he pulls into Carolina Wood Floors victory lane, the winner of the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Let's toss it down trackside to Randy Pulliam.
What a race! Danny Bowman getting a cold drink of water. Coming up next, the second 20-lap event for the Los is the John Barrow Sportsman Series. Climbing out of the cockpit, the winner of the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100, Danny Bowman. Danny, let's head over here. Danny, what a race. To folks who say there's no side-by-side racing here at the stadium, what a race, buddy.
Yeah, we had a really good car. I'm just looking at the right front here. It's pretty bent up. That's why we got a little bit tight at the end there. But, yeah, they can't say there's no side. But I hope the fans enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun running around the outside there. I was sideways a bunch. I got to thank the 51 for running me clean. We weren't the best car there at the end. But, you know, looking at it here, it's pretty bent up. But redeemed myself. That was all driver error in the 200. We led 160 laps, and I gave it up. But, you know, just got to thank my dad, my crew. Team 25's been helping out, all my sponsors, North American Construction, Bilstein Shocks, PME Engines, Amerifast Supply, Racing Electronics, Magnus Rear Ends Transmissions, S&R Motor Company. I hope Putin's watching. He's got S&R on the back, so just an awesome night. I've had a hell of a year. This is our 4th win. So it's just, we're going to enjoy this one, take a couple weeks off, and we'll be back for another 100-lapper.
Congratulations.
Danny Bowman, the big winner in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100, but we are not done yet. The second Twin 20 for the Sportsman up next, plus the stadium stocks. Keep it tuned.
Starting 15th in the Bullies Bar and Grill. Car number 99 for Winston-Salem is Brian Simon. Starting 14th, the Pendry Home Improvements, Emerald Isle Realty, Goats RV Repairs. Car number 03 from Winston-Salem is Sterling Clemens. Starting 13th from Lexington, the car number 14 is Jim Show. Rolling out crowd in the Davis Performance, Smith Masonry. Car number 63 from Poptown is Terry Smith. Rolling out 11 from Walkertown Mill. Farm Lawn and Garden, car number 88 of Chris Taylor. Starting 10th, he was your winner in your first event in the Specialized Graphics Privacy Bid Solutions Velocity. Number 28 from Lexington is Nate Craig. Starting 9th in the Elite Concrete Specialist, Taylor Enterprise Lawn Care from King, number 12 of Justin Taylor. Starting 8th in the Cardinal Plumbing, Jerry Johnson Motors Polyglass, car number 55 is Zach.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to historic Bowman Gray Stadium, and the show isn't over. Oh, it's just begun. The second Twin 20 lapper for the law offices of John Barrow Sportsman Division here at Bowman Gray. Let's give you the starting lineup for this one. On the pole will be the Zero car that we affectionately call the Zero Hero. It's Kirk Sheets in the Cook's Flea Market machine. To the outside, the Wade Interiors, number 51 for Austin Taylor.
Inside of row number 2, Sparky Austin Jones. And on the outside, A.J. Burness, 2 top 10s to start the season for the number 24.
Starting 5th tonight, the veteran driver in the Gale Force number 19, it's Michael Adams. To the outside, one of the greatest drivers to wheel a sportsman car, the Harkey Litigation 21 for the Tiger, Tommy Neal.
Lining up 7th will be the 98 of Billy the Show Craig. And how about 25-time winner on the outside of row number 4, the 55 of Zach Orr.
The EME Concrete number 12 lines up in 9th. That's Justin Taylor. To the outside, in the 10th spot, the winner of tonight's first race in the Coger Plumbing, number 28. It's Nate Gregg. Can he get 3 in a row?
Starting 11th, the number 88 of Chris Taylor. And on his outside will be the 63 of Greensboro, North Carolina driver, Terry Smith.
Starting in lucky number 13 tonight is the driver in the Velocita number 14. That's the veteran Jim Shove. To the outside, the Emerald Isle Realty number 03 for the Rockstar, Sterling Clemens.
A pair of sportsman winners in row number 8. Starting 15th, Brian Sykes Jr. with 4 wins to his credit and 1 win for Kenneth Simpson in the 07.
Starting in 17th, the Tough Shed 38 of Mitch Gales. To the outside, the 75 of Brent Brown.
And then on the final row in the number 5, starting 19th, Jonathan Simachek, and then Chris Massey in the 37 will line up 20th.
I like saying Simachek. That's one of those names.
It's kind of like Nemechek.
Nimachek. Joe Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek. Well, there it is, the full moon over the famed quarter mile. We're going to get set for a second 20 lapper for the sportsman cars. And by way of the Madhouse Scramble, finishing 10th in that first race was Kirk Sheets, and now he will line up in the front row on the pole. And great to see A.J. Burness in that second spot. The red and yellow number 24 car will line up second. Austin Taylor will not take the green from the front row. There is Elgin. Oh, Stat Boy, we got a shot of Elgin on camera? God, he never gets on camera. One of the great stat guys in the history of short track racing and a good friend of Bob and I's.
So Sheets started 3rd in the first race, a little bit better this time.
Yeah.
But can that older race car, if you will, hold on and be up front? He definitely struggled in the latter half of the first race.
Well, you got 2 older perimeter-style race cars starting up front with A.J. Burness, the Furnace, in the number 24. His mom doesn't like that nickname, but it's okay.
That's why I stopped calling him it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the 24, you're talking about a grassroots effort. Him and his friends, his girl just working on that car. They've got an open trailer. I teased him that he was fancy today because he had a really nice pop-up tent.
He's my hero because he's a former super modified driver, too. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I mean, Oswego, New York, baby, home of the super modified. And, of course, the Budweiser Classic you can watch every year live on Flow Racing, one of my favorite races of the year. Now, here we go. Law offices of John Barrow. Hopefully we won't need them at the end of this one. 20 laps for the sportsman division, and we are green. The Zero Hero washing up. Burness hanging on in turn number 2. Side by side, the whole field stacks into the north turn.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Tommy Neal's going to do because he knows, contact there. Burness gets into the number 1 of Jones, and they make contact. Tommy Neal goes, I don't know where to go. Here comes Michael Adams on the inside. Both of those drivers in row number 3 here. Burness goes way up the racetrack, and Neal finally gets by.
That was some close quarters and some tension right there as Burness did a good job not stuffing it into the wall on the outside of that turn. Michael Adams now on the battle for second position. He gets daylight underneath Pee Wee Jones's grandson right there. Austin Jones leads the number 1 car in spot 2 as I try to get words out. Here comes Michael Adams, though.
Michael Adams in one lap hit the number 1 car of Jones 4 times.
Here comes the show, Bob, as you like to call him, and we all like to call him, Billy Gregg, moving into the 3 spot.
You can see Kirk Sheets on the left side of your screen, the leader of this race, and the battle for fourth on back on the right side.
Well, Sheets doesn't want to see a yellow flag, that's for sure. Right now, we're watching the 21 car, and he is getting the spot around Jones. Jones just hung up on the outside. Nothing he could do at this point. The outside is not the place to be in this sportsman division race. Here comes Zach Orr, who had such a strong race in that first race. Now he's moving on.
Oh, look at the battle for the lead. They came up on the slower car of Simicek. Battle for second right now. Really brewing. Michael Adams all sorts of out of shape, and he's going to lose the spot.
Billy Gregg now moves into the 2 spot. Adams in third. Car is spun. It is Chris Taylor spun in turn number 2.
This one got interesting in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, that's every sportsman race, it seems, here at Bowman Gray.
So yellow flag out, the first one at lap number 7 of this second of the Twin 20s tonight for the sportsman class at Bowman Gray Stadium. Taylor winds up going around in turn number 2 to bring out the yellow flag once again.
All right, we're going to take a quick break on Bowman Gray Stadium on Flow Racing, and we'll be right back. We are back here at Bowman Gray Stadium. 7 laps into the 20-lapper for the sportsman. Kirk Sheets leads them to green.
By the way, Nate Gregg going for 3 in a row. Oh, look at the contact here.
Billy Gregg to the inside. Nate Gregg's dad going for the top spot here at Bowman Gray in race number 2 for the sportsman. Give Billy Gregg the show, the lead.
Sheets closes down, holds on to second. Michael Adams is there, a little bump from the back end or the front end of the 21 car of Neal, but Adams able to collect himself in the 19.
The 19's got a mirror full of the Tiger right now at Bowman Gray Stadium. Michael Adams, another second generation driver, holding off the 21 halfway this time by your leader is Billy Gregg.
Tommy Neal looking to the inside of Adams in the 19, gonna bully his way by him. Here comes Zach Orr, probably gonna fill the hole a little bit, try to get around Michael Adams. Orr and Adams have been battling in the sportsman class for several years, and the 55 is now up to 4th. Nate Gregg a little bit further back in the field in the 28, gets by the 1 car. So he puts Jones back another spot. By the way, remember, Nate Gregg trying to go for 3 in a row. And remember, he said 3 for 3, not out of my realm of possibility after he won the opening race here tonight. But right now, he's back in the 8th spot.
Well, with 8 laps to go, it's going to be really tough for Nate Gregg to get up there without the help of maybe a caution flag. Right now, his dad leads the way. He'll be approaching some lap traffic. We're single file and kind of stretched out, a little stretching our legs here at Bowman Gray in this one.
It could be 3 for 3 for the Gregg family in the sportsman class at Bowman Gray to open 2026.
Nate Gregg sits currently in the 7th spot as he tries to make a charge up through the field. Right now, his father approaching lap traffic.
And Tommy Neal approaching Kirk Sheets. Tommy Neal's got a very fast race car in that red and white 21. All sorts of pressure on the back bumper of the Zero Hero, Kirk Sheets.
Neal now into the back bumper of Sheets. Sheets drops low, trying to protect the bottom in turn number 1. Washes up a little high. Here comes the 21. Down the straightaway they go.
Tommy Neal looking for a good run for the first time this year. Has had all sorts of trouble in the opening 2 races. The Tiger, Tommy Neal, up to second.
Zach Orr fills the hole. Loose on entry is that number 55 car, and both cars save it. Now give the 3 spot to Zach Orr. Billy Gregg, your leader, with 2 laps to go. Massey spinning to the infield grass. That might throw a caution. Not yet. Massey gets it turned around. We stay green.
Great job by Massey to get that one righted once again.
The white flag is out for the driver of the black and silver car. At times, he's been heralded as a success story here at Bowman Gray. At times, quite frankly, he's been the villain. But cloaked in black and silver tonight, Billy Gregg does it. The Gregg family streak is alive as Dad wins race number 2 after son wins race number 1.
3 for 3 for the Gregg family. Nate got it right, but didn't know it was going to be his dad instead of him to go 3 for 3. But it's going to be a happy camp tonight down to the pits with the Gregg family as son and father win the Twin 20s at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Win number 26 for Billy Gregg.
This is interesting. The first time ever a father-son has won on the same night in the Sportsman Division at Bowman Gray.
Yes, it is. The Sportsman Division making some history tonight. We've seen that with Lee and Robert Jeffries in the Modifieds before, but unbelievable. His 5th ever Sportsman win. Of course, he's got most of his wins coming in the Street Stock Division, but this family moving up together here in the Sportsman ranks, you know, moving through the ranks. We've seen it so many times, whether it was Alfred Hill moving from the Hobby Division up to the Modifieds and now going to do a little bit of a burnout. Hey, the old guy's got it in him.
That costs too much money in my book as a car owner, but 26 career wins for Billy Gregg here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Billy Gregg also known throughout this pit area, not just for, you know, his prowess behind the wheel, his aggression at times, and his success. He also manages and cuts tires for a lot of competitors in this pit area. So he's a guy that's just part of the fabric of this racing community here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
And I love the paint scheme on this race car.
Look at the crew.
Old school and classic, as it will be a party for the Gregg family tonight. Let's go downstairs.
Race fans, make some noise! You and your son, man, what does this mean to you? What a win. Father, son, and Victor Lane, same night. That's got to be cool for you as a dad, my friend.
Man, for both of us to win on the same night, that's awesome. I don't know that I'll ever win again. Heck, this might be my last time, but I'm going to enjoy it. This was great. I love it. Man, I can't thank the guys at BGR enough. Dominic Lumley, Nolan Marshall, Trail Hunt, fucking Kenny Flippin, Nate, Brian Jr., Big Brian, all our sponsors, Specialized Graphics, Coger Plumbing, Velocita, Micro Armor, Bassett Wheels. There's a whole list, man.
I'm glad I got...
Billy Gregg, the winner, his 5th. Remember, his son said, I've got the record now, Dad. I've got the most wins. Well, Billy Gregg said, hold my beer. Folks, we'll be back on Flow Racing. The stadium stocks are next, and they put on a show. Hey, if you're sitting on your couch right now watching live on Flow Racing, fire up the Facebook, folks, because Little Donuts have entered for the first time the booth. And we're snacking on some good old Little Donuts, but, you know, we'll stop chewing here to give you the starting lineup for the first stadium stock race of the night. Starting on the pole in the Clifton Plumbing number 16. He was in a little bit of hot water last week, but it's Steven Sanders. To the outside, it's the big guy in the Farm Bureau Insurance. Number 12, it's Tyler Rose.
On the inside of row number 2, and the number 18, two-time winner here at Bowman Gray Stadium for Billy Andrews. And to the outside, the number 27 out of Tobaccoville, North Carolina, Austin Cates.
Starting in 5th position in the Bendy Straw, number 44, it's Blaze Sanders. To the outside, the Disco Turkey himself. With the Disco Turkey's 51, it's Andrew Cates.
Lining up on the inside of row number 4, it's Frankenstein. Michael Cates in the number 83.
A lot of Cateses.
And last week's winner, I should say 2 weeks ago, for the 80 of Luke Smith.
A.J. Sanders starts amongst all those Cates cars, and if you saw last week, you know what happened last week. In the Dean's Tree Services number 24, he starts 9th. To the outside in the orange Mustang, the Moxville Tires 71, it's the dad of Pintang, it's James Allison.
Lining up 11th in the 22, Peanut Baker, last year's Rookie of the Year. And then this guy finished 11th in week number 1, the number 8 of Jaden Andrews.
Starting in 13th position, boy, I was glad I got this car. It's the number 7, affectionately known as Chris Allison, but it's Pintang, starting 13th, starting 14th. Andre Chavez, welcome back in the number 5 Cosmic Health Games machine. Starting in the rear of the field, though, will be the number 14, bringing up the rear of Brandon Vaughn. 15 laps for the stadium stocks, the smallest cars you will see compete here with the 4-cylinder engines, but they crank them up to high RPM and high stakes excitement.
Steven Sanders will lead the field to the green flag. He hasn't won here in 6 years.
Ooh, been a while.
So it would be neat to see that driver get back to victory lane. Of course, the Sanders name, very prominent in stadium stock racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
And last week, maybe not for the right reasons. There's a little bit of a dust-up between the Cates family and the Sanders family. Well, guess what? They're all in this one particular race. The 2 races for stadium stock tonight, but the whole pile of Cateses and the whole pile of Sanders, 3 by 3, 6 of them all in this race. Green flag is out for the Buzz Bombers.
Hold on, Sanders. He was sideways coming to the green flag. Watch out for that number 12 on the outside. Let's see what Tyler Rose can do.
3 wide. Luke Smith, last week's winner, takes it to the bottom. That car is charging, and that was wild to see them on the backstretch 3 wide.
Billy Andrews on the inside. He gets to second. Here comes Luke Smith. Luke Smith in that very clean white number 80 up to third here, coming off of turn number 4.
One of the fastest cars last week is now on the bottom of the racing roofer. He is going to get the 2 spot. Steven Sanders is going to see the big flash of white soon in his rearview mirror.
Luke Smith is on a rail right now. That 80 car looks so good here early in the season. A little bit further back, side by side for the number 4 spot.
Battles throughout this field as the Cates car, Austin Cates on the bottom, and the black number 27, the 2 side-by-side cars you see on your screen. The 12 of Rose, Tyler Rose on the outside. Here comes the familiar blue number 24 car of A.J. Sanders underneath Rose. He marches his way towards the front.
A.J. Sanders a little bit sideways in that 24 car, 5-time champion here at Bowman Gray Stadium. But that car always very sporty here at Bowman Gray.
And now a battle is on for the lead as we've got one spun in the infield grass. Luke Smith now looking for the lead. He gets gently into the backside of the 16 of Sanders. Coming down the front straightaway is your leader. The 2 white cars into turn number 1 and turn 2. Luke Smith is your leader.
Yeah, Luke Smith waves on the way by Sanders, and he's back in the lead, back up front, just like he was on the opening night. Halfway through this one, he's already in the lead, and you watch, he's going to gap the field here. That's how good that race car is.
Oh, and now the racing roofer, Billy Andrews, goes around from the front bumper of young Blaze Sanders, and the yellow flag is out.
Billy Andrews, he is a charismatic driver inside the cockpit of that race car. I'm sure he's not too happy right now. take a look at the replay of what happened to Billy Andrews down in the corner. A little tap to the back bumper, but you could see that car already in yaw going into the corner, which means it was already rotating, or I should say over-rotating, and just took a little nudge from the car behind him to send him around.
It wasn't a hard bump, but a bump it was. The racing roofer now.
You sound like an artist.
Definitely not a poet.
Yeah, like you're a poet.
And
Absolutely.
I know it. My feet show it. They're Longfellers.
Oh, my gosh. I just opened up the door.
He
hit it out of the park.
You threw me a lob in softball, and that thing looked like the size of a grapefruit.
I've seen you play softball.
I know. I don't run fast, but at least I provided entertainment. Anyway, let's get back to the real entertainment, and that is the race. Right now, it might not be entertaining up front because Luke Smith is the fastest car, and he is in the lead, but Sanders are behind him.
Wow. A lot of Sanders up in the top 4 right now, but they want the spot occupied by Luke Smith. And the Sanders family not behaving so well.
Here comes A.J. Sanders, the brighter blue machine, and Blaze Sanders, his son, in the middle of that sandwich. 5 laps to go as we watch the battle of the Sanders here at the stadium.
And Blaze has got a good car, going to get it underneath Steven Sanders. Battle for second raging right now. Here comes that 44 car, looking pretty good. And look at Dad back there, just wondering what way he's going to go.
AJ's got to love seeing this, but you know what? He likes better seeing it in his rearview mirror, and he's going to see it soon because he just got that inside groove underneath the number 44. But Blaze gets back in the throttle and gets great drive off of turn number 4.
But going into turn number 1, can AJ stick it in there and hold this time? He's got to be able to do it. AJ Sanders up to second now, hoping for a caution.
Now Blaze Sanders will file down and try to get to the bottom in front of Austin Cates. We have Luke Smith pacing this field with 2 laps to go, followed by A.J. Sanders, Steven Sanders, Blaze Sanders, and then Austin Cates, who now, Cates, looks to the bottom of Sanders' blue number 44 car. 1 lap to go.
Big gap between Luke Smith and A.J. Sanders. A.J. Sanders is the king of stadium stocks here, but he will be 1 spot short tonight. Luke Smith goes 2 for 2 in the opening rounds at Bowman Gray Stadium in the stadium stocks.
Not only 2 for 2, Bob, but guess what? He won the finale last year. So really, if you look at the calendar and you kind of throw that away, this is 3 wins in a row for this young race car driver and the Triad Florentine number 80. And that car is immaculate, and he puts attention to detail in this car. Of course, the shiny red wheels, and Luke Smith now is putting his stamp as one of the leaders of this division. 6th career win, which ties Jimmy Absher, our pace car driver, for 40th in Stadium Stock Division wins. And who knows, maybe Luke, maybe you too, and at some point, drive the pace car.
I'd rather drive one of these stadium stocks, honestly.
Too. I've driven one, Bob, and I know you're itching to drive here. I know you're not. You've never raced here at the stadium. We need to get you here one morning. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll make a deal. I'll get you a practice in a race car, whether it's Sportsman, Street Stock, or whatever, in morning practice. Deal done. We just decided.
Absolutely.
You got to do it.
There's Frankenstein, by the way.
Yeah, Michael Cates' car is a legend. They now have Frankenstein decals.
They
on
do.
their car.
I took a picture of it today.
Well, Luke Smith is going to pull into Carolina Wood Floors Victory Lane in the QO 104.1 Stadium Stock Division. Gotta love that stitched Bowman Gray Stadium checkered flag. And he comes to rest here in front of Eric Messer, the track photographer. And Randy Pulliam is the guy down in the red shirt who's the Victory Lane host and the PA announcer here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Let's throw it down to Randy, who grew up here, one of the great stewards of history here. Let's go down to Randy right now.
Randy. Waiting on Luke Smith and Randy Pulliam on standby. There he is, race fans. Let him hear you.
Luke, let's head around here so the folks from Flow Racing around the country can see you. You're batting 1,000, buddy. 2 for 2. I think this is win number 6 in your career stadium stock. You had them covered tonight.
Yes, sir. First of all, I got to thank my whole team. If it wasn't for this, none of this would be possible. I got to thank the Harris family for everything done for me. My girlfriend, Scooter and his family. Oh, my goodness. Willie, I mean, the whole crew, my dad, my uncle. If it wasn't for their incredible business tri-floor team, this wouldn't be possible. So I got to thank everybody. I got to thank Kevin Bush, Michael Wells, and the whole Harris family. And we're going to keep the streak going.
All right, folks, that is your winner, Luke Smith. Let's take a quick break here on Flow Racing and back for the finale, the second Stadium Stock feature.
Final race of the night at Bowman Gray Stadium, night number 2 of the 2026 season, and it is the second race for the stadium stocks. Let's meet the drivers and the starting lineup of this one.
Starting on the pole is the driver of the thing we're eating right now, the little donuts. Number 88, it's Zach Taylor. To the outside, the Velocita number 81. Those are team cars. It's Chuck Wall.
Starting third, last year's champ, Brandon Brendel, in a very fast number 43 machine. And how about the ultimate bridesmaid? He's finished second 4 times in his career, looking for his first win. It's Brad Mikulowski in the 60.
Starting fifth tonight in the QRC HVAC and refrigeration number 2, it's Carson Reed. To the outside, the chimney sweep 03 for Grayson Lee.
Starting seventh, Christian Bowens in the number 29, and Colton Brown, the second generation race car driver, in the 46 on the outside of row 4.
Starting ninth tonight in a black and orange number 02 Mustang, referred to as Whisker Biscuit, is the driver named Fuzzy Dinkles. To the outside of the Cowboys garage, number 64, it's Ricky Wall.
The 66 of Tim Geeson will line up 11th. And then how about Levi Holt? Yes, ka-chow!
Yes!
The number 95, Lightning McQueen, will line up 12th.
That's going to be entertaining to watch. The last row consists of Light Bright, the number 10, J.B. Linebury, and the 45 of Keith Bryant. Here we go, the Buzz Bombers. Look at that. Team cars kind of rubbing against each other in turn 1 and 2. Oh, that's great to see right there.
That's not good. Zach Taylor's got a nice wrap on that car.
He's trying to make another donut on the car.
That's
do you
right.
get it?
Yeah. I do. Bump.
We're getting punny up here, but you know what's not getting punny? This right here. This is serious stuff here for the stadium stockers. Green flag is out.
Wall going to be able to take the lead easily, and he dives it into the corner. Here comes Brandon Brendel, and we got a car going around in turns 1 and 2.
The yellow flag is out for the number 29 machine of Christian Bowens. It's funny because on our we got to just let him in on it. I got to. Okay,
yes.
We got to let him in because on our sheet we do get lineups, and the sheet said Christian Bowens with like a question mark.
Yeah.
So we're giggling right before we came back for break. A little peek behind the curtain here. That when we mention him, we need to say Christian Bowens.
And I did.
And and he's yeah. Hey, let's give him his due though. Okay, that car is beautiful.
It is a
okay?
cool looking car.
The drive shaft shop on board with Bowens as he tries to become a star here in the stadium stock division.
And no offense to these fancy-bodied race cars, that looks like a stadium stock, that number 29 machine, as well as several others as well. But, you know, you take a look at his car, you take a look at some of these old Mustangs and so forth. And
donuts.
And donuts. That's your deal.
Yeah, Facebook is fired up now. Maybe the first time this year we'll get some hatred. It'll be awesome, but guess what? Nobody hates on those donuts, I'll tell you that. If you come here to Bowman Gray Stadium, this is what we're talking about. The donut stand in turn number 2 has become a part of the culture here, not only because they're so darn good, because they sponsor cars, and, hey, he's a driver here. The guy that has the donut truck races. That's cool.
Listen, another Little Donuts car is in the lead of this race,
Yes.
So, I mean, racing is driven by sponsorship, so you got to pay off the sponsor for a time or two, and Chuck Wall has certainly been a supporter, have been supported by Little Donuts for a while.
Yeah, and then, that's family right there. And, Chuck Wall, of course, the winner, the leader of this race. And that's a guy who we talk about A.J. Sanders a lot with his 67 wins, but Chuck Wall, one of the greats in this division with 38 wins. And he just gets overlooked by some. He's a great, and we all know it, but he gets overlooked. But he's going to have a mirror full on this restart, Bob, with Brendan Lee Brendel in that number 43 car. But don't look now, Carson Reed is in third as well.
And Brandon Brendel, 36 wins of his own, and here he comes. That 43 looking good to the inside, battle for the lead in the stadium stock race number 2 between Wall and Brendel.
2 of the heavyweights of the Buzz Bombers putting on a show, and the nightcap here, sideways goes Brendel. Wall retakes the lead. Now further back, the march of the Ka-Chow is on because Levi Holt has come from the back to the front, and now he moves into the 4 spot.
Levi Holt, brand new car for him this year, and he said it's a night and day difference for him from that car that looks like the old mini stock, stadium stock race cars around the country. But Levi Holt up to 4th. Battle for the lead brewing again. Brendel on the inside of Wall.
Brendel now slides his way in the 81, washes up, and now Brendel gets the lead. Wall will try to maybe do the crossover. He gets to the back bumper of Brendel. No can do. Give the lead, lap number 5, to Brendan Brendel.
Brendel now going to check out. Can Wall stay with him? Can Wall have another opportunity? Could it come in some slower traffic? They're about to get to that traffic right now.
Light Bright pulling to the inside, doing a great job of getting out of the way of the leaders, and Wall is painting the back bumper of the 43. Now the attention focuses to the 3 spot. 2 white cars down the back straightaway. One of them is the number 2 car of Carson Reed, but here comes the 95. The Lightning McQueen car is marching his way to the front, Bob.
Yeah, Levi Holt looking good. He's got the eyes on the front windshield of that machine, focused on the car in front of him, and now he pulls to the inside. Here comes Holt. He moves up to that 3rd spot.
Levi Holt in that brand new car. He still has the old car, the little car that could. But that car right there looks to be one of the strongest cars this season as far as the way that car gets around the track.
Yeah, Holt's last year's machine is in the barn, as he told me today. But what if he were able to get a caution here? Could be interesting between those top 3.
Right now they're spaced out here. 9 laps on the board. And Brendel's 43 will come around to 5 laps to go as he starts to gap the 81 of Chuck Wall.
Brendel's car was so good last year with those 6 victories, the championship. He was on a rail the entire season, almost unbeatable at times with that 43 car.
Yeah, you know, Brendel, of course, tried to dabble a little in the sportsman ranks. Now he's possibly selling that sportsman car. He's come home to this division where he's had so much success. Part of that also is the concentration on his son and his Little League Baseball. He coaches Little League Baseball. He coaches his son. His son plays travel ball and just enjoying that family time. Fuzzy Dinkles is in the infield in the grass having a little wild off-road ride there. You love the name Fuzzy Dinkles, don't you?
It's interesting. I'd love to know his real name for sure.
Nah, let's leave it to mystery. Some things in life are left better to mystery. I think when he was born in the hospital, they said, you know, that kid looks like his name would be Fuzzy. We've had Fuzzy Cliftons here. You know, there's been several Fuzzies, but guess what? One thing's not fuzzy. The sight out of the 43, white flag, last lap, Brendan Brendel.
Brendan Brendel going to make this one look easy. Dominates the latter part of this race to pick up win number 1 on the season. Brendel getting the job done for his 37th career win in the stadium stocks.
Chuck Wall will be 2nd position. 3rd position to Levi Holt. Carson Reed in the 4th spot. Great finish for Zach Taylor in the 5th spot. Michalowski in 6th. Grayson Lee in the 7th spot. And that is it. Christian Bowens in the 8th spot and Colton Brown in the 9th spot. But your winner right there in the beautiful white number 43. One of the fastest cars here of the past 2 years. Like you said, 6 wins last year and pure domination. So it only took him to week 2 this year to get it done. And that's Brendan Lee Brendel.
Brendel going to take the victory lap around this quarter-mile racetrack as the final winner on night number 2 in the 2026 season at the Madhouse.
You know, last year he averaged a 2.62 as far as finishes. I mean, so to start out the season 2 weeks ago with a 24th place finish after getting involved in a tangle, that had to stick with him. You know, like sauce to a rib. Like that's not, you know, like that's not the typical Brendan Brendel performance. So to come back and follow that up with this performance just shows what that car, that driver, that team is made of.
And then you get a guy like Chuck Wall who finishes behind him, wondering what he needs to do to his race car with all those wins that he has to compete against the likes of Brendan Brendel.
All right, Brendel pulls into Carolina Woodfloor's victory lane. And as Eric Messer gets ready to get a picture of him climbing out of his race car, the Infinity Insurance Group number 43, we're going to go down trackside here for Randy Pulliam, who will have victory lane and our excited winner.
Picks up the win. Brandon, win number 37 in your Bowman Gray Stadium career for the defending champion of the series. Some good racing between you and Chuck there early on.
I'm going to tell you what, Chuck's one of the best to ever do it in one of these cars, and anytime you can race in, it's a blessing. I want to thank Todd Barnhart with Infinity Insurance. He owns the car, and he asked me what we needed, and I told him, and we went to work. I also want to thank Brick with Triad Septic Solutions. Justin, Bobby, AJ, Tyler McDonald, Sean. I ain't got to do that.
Here we go. Night number 2 of the season is complete in the books here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Your winners, Danny Bone in the 100-lap modified race, Nate Gregg and Billy Gregg in the sportsman, the family, the father-son split the twin sportsman features with Brad Lewis starting out tonight in that 20-lap feature win for the street stocks, and in the stadium stocks, Luke Smith and Brendan Brendel we just saw right there. Bob Dillner, the second night of competition here at Bowman Gray. What is your takeaway for tonight?
Well, I think it's just interesting to see the twists and turns already at the start of this season. We're just 2 races in, but it shows you the drama that we're going to see and the excitement that we're going to see each and every week. Yeah, Nate Gregg's won 2 now. But if you look at even the modified ranks, you see a part-timer win tonight in the 100-lapper. Tim Brown won the opener. We're going to see some close competition all year long at Bowman Gray Stadium. This place always provides the drama and excitement.
Well, folks, as you see Victory Lane commencing there, an unbelievable night here at the Madhouse, and there we are up in the press tower. Justin Mincy joining us up here, and a hard-working crew of folks in both Charlotte, North Carolina. Cameron, his first time producing tonight, did a wonderful job. Good job, Cam. And so many folks back there in Charlotte doing a great job to bring you this tonight. But, folks, it was a great night here at the Madhouse. Young and old enjoying good short track auto racing here at the famed quarter mile. Jumping up and down because you saw action. You saw a lot of spins. Well, that's kind of typical sometimes at Bowman Gray. And you saw good old-fashioned donuts. And I'm not talking little donuts. Those are some big donuts from Nate Gregg. And in the modified division, you saw a little bit of contact, some tempers kept in check by some of the drivers that weren't happy. But Danny Bone was the one ending the night with the checkered flag. The racing roofer, he spun, but we also saw glory. Folks, I'm Matthew Dillner. Until next time, we'll see you at the races.